been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon. Got a taste, can't erase bitterness in my face. Work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game that we say. I need a break. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. Face on when I chase like that. Yeah, I play so strong with a knife in the back. I'ma swing home run like a baseball bat. Gonna see me rise, you can hate on that. I don't play both sides, doing me no cap. I'ma ride or die for my dreams on tap. I'ma fly real high, you ain't see me slack. No, it's not how you fall, it's how you get right back up. That's how you get tough. Calluses on my hands so rough, yeah, I call your bluff. I'm not the one, mess with me and come out with none. Cause I'm so done, you had your fun. And now you're gonna face down the barrel of the gun. Cause I got a full clip with your name on it. But I'ma let you slide cause you ain't worth it. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on. I'm staying strong, need to move on to be what I want. I'll keep dreaming on.
Hello friends and welcome to week 6 here in the Blue Otter League's Platinum Division. We are going to be starting this one off with a best of 3 between Blue Esports Fire and TA Spectre. I am Nyarko doing play-by-play here in the booth with Feedonomics. How you doing tonight, man?
I mean, I'm excited. Like, I can't help besides being super excited for this. This is a game that'll be worth casting. We have a rematch from mid-season split. So, like, the tournament round. So we'll see if Blue Esports can beat TA Spectre in a best of 3. And, you know, I think there may be some playoff implications that may be only on BOL 1. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't crunch the numbers, but yeah, no, I can't wait. I'm excited.
For sure. Blue Esports Fire coming off of a little bit of a Cinderella story that we're still talking about here in the Blue Otter League from that mid-season tournament. They really strutted their stuff, as it were, Feedonomics, and I want to see how they will fare in this matchup. They were going to return to face TA Spectre, and as you noted, this is now going to be in a best-of-3 format. Will they be able to keep it up? Can they draw upon that momentum that they gained from that fanfare that surrounded them in the mid-season tournament and bring that to the masses here in the actual group stage. I think both teams are slowly getting into the draft low lobby now, so we will be moving over to see how they pick out their teams for game one very soon.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I just want to see games. I just want to see 2 to 3 well played matches. Who do you like before I even look at bans and picks because I haven't pulled up the draft LOL yet. Who do you think some of the champions that'll end up getting banned out on the sides of both of these teams? Maybe a Mr. Top and Vigar, maybe a Lux on the other side for TA Spectre.
Yeah, a lot of different options here. Rhaegar the Null has been playing a lot of Ezreal in solo queue and hasn't really been tending themselves towards a lot of these more meta AD carry picks. And given the fact that those are the champions that we typically see pinched out first here in the round of bans that's coming up, I think that it'll be interesting to see whether or not TA Spectre will react to that and in fact take away some of these less played AD carries from the pool. But we're starting right off with some mid lane bans instead. Vex and Lux taken away by Blue Esports Fire. TA Spectre starting off with the Vhagar ban, and we'll see what they move into next.
There you go. I mean, when you're good, you're good, right? Like I'm already starting off well with my Nostradamus type style predictions.
Yeah, for sure. We are seeing a combination of champions that can be flexed into that mid lane role or a bot lane role being knocked out here, both Lux and now the Karma coming through for TA Spectre. That I really like. It pinches out some of the champions that really have been seeing meta relevance, especially given the fact that when you're so early on in the draft, there's a lot of flexibility with how you want to dictate and move your team composition. Ooh, the Ivern ban from Blue Esports Fire. A little bit spicy, though. That's not something we see a whole lot.
Ooh, maybe they know something we don't, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking right here at the op.gg's just to see if there is any Ivern history, but I don't really see Tyrant Rex actually grabbing that champion and putting it into the pool a lot here. So maybe this is just a general weakness that Blue Esports Fire has been feeling when they go to scrims or otherwise elsewhere in the league, and perhaps they're just trying to adjust against that. And it looks like they're going to go with an early hover of the Seraphine. Really like that being locked in here. It could go into the hands of Austraeus there in the support role, or alternatively, Feedonomics, we could be seeing it go mid in the hands of Mr. Topnapun.
Yeah, no, like I said, we'll see what happens. I've been a big fan of Blue Otter League and Seraphine. I feel like I've seen a lot of good matches where they're played out. Whole lot of synergy there, depending on what you pick. And it does look like the bot side for TA Spectre is getting picked out right now with Senna and Ashe.
Yeah, for sure. Going so early on for the Ashe Senna lane is kind of interesting here. TA Spectre has had specialization in those champions before, but Feedonomics, we usually see these as response choices to stuff like the Zeri or the Jinx, who Blue Esports Fire look like they're going to pick regardless of the fact that Ashe has actually been pretty effective into this champion of late, just due to the fact that even once Jinx gets excited, you can kind of slow her down with Ashe's general ability kit, use those volleys to just chip away at that damage and whatnot, as well as you have a great pick potential with that enchanted crystal arrow.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, Jinx gets a kill, she gets ready to get excited, and then all of a sudden she's smacked in the face with an arrow and cools off.
Ooh, and they will go for the Hecarim as well. Blue Esports Fire coming out of the gate strong here. So many meta champs picked up. TA Spectre, meanwhile, gonna hover the Rex side for Tyrant Rex and swap that over maybe to the Volibear. I think I would actually like to see a Trundle here, Feedonomics. That's a champion that has been doing really well into the horse of late.
Yeah, I mean, Trundle might be a good pick, but at the same time, like, Volibear is also really strong in the jungle right now, I think. Not a bad pick in the slightest.
Yeah, for sure, but Hecarim when we're talking about strong jungle picks, is probably the top of the pack right now, at least in my opinion, Feedonomics. This is a champion that can full clear out farm and just generally become a terror on the rift once you hit 2 items. You typically go with that turbo chem tank to start things off, just so you have a lot of approach speed and engage potential, and then you translate that over into a man immune where you can really start cranking out a surprising amount of damage in turn. We are now moving into the second set of bans here, and we're getting a Twisted Fate knocked out by TA Spectre, and that will be responded by yet another mid laner, Blue Esports Fire, going to take away that Orianna. Meanwhile, TA Spectre gonna close out their last ban, number 5 here, going to a Zillion, which is a little bit interesting. Obviously, Zillion and Seraphine are 2 champions that can flex with one another. They can exchange the support in mid lane roles, and Zillion is really good with champions like the Hecarim. The Chrono Shift can do so much to continue that engage, and plus the fact you have a speed up is really, really dramatically important. But Blue Esports Fire is kind of lacking full damage right now, and so I wouldn't expect them to go for a really support-oriented mid laner here. I guess we should see, though, Ornn going to be locked in by TA Spectre going into that top lane.
Ornn into Mordekaiser into Ornn does not feel bad. Double so when you have Ornn and Volibear to borrow stats from. Sort of like the reverse pick to the Trundle that you wanted to see, right? Like, well, I guess we can't really take a Trundle, but we'll also take a steal your stats boy. I really am kind of curious about what mid laners both of these teams are going to play. Like, this pool is super thin right now looking at the bans.
Yeah, that Nico really showing that they're scraping the bottom of the barrel regarding
shallow
stuff that Dyna plays. Yeah, I mean, not that I dislike Nico, I just don't think that is something that is very commonly seen here, especially in coordinated competitive play, just due to the fact that her passive really becomes a non-issue when you just have better knowledge of the positioning of champions. But we should see what comes through here. The Kassadin of anything going into that mid lane there for Blue Esports Fire. And we'll see what TA Spectre responds with. Hopefully something that's a little bit stronger early game.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, if you're TA Spectre right now, you want to pick a mid lane bully. And then, you know, something that's going to push the clock back on the Kassadin level 16 Revenge Tour.
Yeah, and that will
be
the Ahri
is the one. Yeah, Ahri is a pretty good one to do it, I think.
Ahri is a really interesting champion, especially since we get that mini rework coming through in patch 12.5, and I'm happy to see it here. Kassadin obviously does do pretty well into AP-focused damage champions. The fact that he has those resistances means that he may not be the easiest champ to take down early, but Ahri definitely has the engage options, especially if a gank will be set up there in the mid lane. And I think that they will also just dominate every single exchange pre-level 6 at the very least, or even pre-item number 1.
Yeah, no, it's... And I'm also looking at the crowd control on both sides of the team, right? That's something that jumps out at me, like, immediately. Everyone on TA Spectre has a sort of stop doing what you're doing button, right? And I don't know, I guess... Everyone but Kassadin has it on the side of Blue Esports.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of lockdown, and I think that is just kind of in response to the champions that we saw cascade through the draft phase here, Feedonomics. I mean, you want to get that Hecarim shut down. You know he's going to go unstoppable and utilize that fear in the enemy team. So in turn, what do? You try to get some lockdown to make sure that he can't wreak further havoc by dropping E or the like. So you're going to get stuff like the Ahri that can charm them. You can get stuff like Ornn, who could blow the horn and call upon the Forge God to hopefully knock up some of these other champions from Blue Esports Fire to prevent a follow-up. But overall, it's going to be difficult to fight back on either side if someone is caught out, that's for sure.
Which team do you like the most right now, looking at it?
We play this game every week, and I think I love wrong, Feedonomics.
I love this game. It's a great game, especially because I normally do better than you, but that's not here nor there.
I think Blue Esports Fire has a really cool combination of interesting champions and more meta ones that I think can lead to some really novel means of engaging and scaling. Obviously, if the Kassadin just gets the chance to farm up and pop off late, we could be seeing a pretty strong emphatic victory come through for the blue side here. But also at the same time, TA Spectre, they got a lots of stuff going for them. If Senna Ash are able to dominate that bot lane and Seraphine isn't able to get the poke damage off that they need to, these two champions can just kind of grab a lot of gold and really begin to snowball. They have so much damage at their disposal by virtually going as two ADCs that if Seraphine can't get a solid encore off and they just get collapsed on from behind, I don't think that Jinx or Australis' champion are long for this world.
Yeah, no, like that does actually make a lot of sense to me too. But I can't not go for Blue Esports, right? They add me in tweets, so if you want my undying support and you're in the Blue Otter League Plat League, just tweet at me and it's gonna win me over. I'm a sucker for stuff like that.
Does this mean that I have your undying support?
You had me at hello, Narco.
Oh, beautiful.
But it's just, I do want to see them do well now. They definitely were my fan favorite for MST. And the little bit of conversations that I've had with the players, like, it has been good so far. So I'm in Camp Blue Esports, so you should be in Camp TA Spectre.
I guess so, just so we could be on opposite sides. But I too am with you on this Feedonomics. I think that Blue Esports Fire have a great narrative under their belt, and they've really shown that they can actually tangle with those at the top of the league. But right now, it's definitely going to be a statistical favorite for the red team here. TA Spectre, second currently in the Infernal standings. And it's going to be tough for the very bottom seed to come back from that dominant position. So we shall see what kind of statements are made here in game one. We're going to throw it to a quick break to wait out the spectator delay. And when we come back, some of our questions will definitely be answered.
feel nauseous, believe me. Never had a lot of shit come easy. Had to work hard, struggle just to be me. Had to rise up just so they could see me. Did what I had to do just to feed me. And what was left over I put towards my dreaming. But the only thing in life that has meaning are the things you gotta work for, believe me. Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Platinum Division. We are here in Game 1 of a best-of-3 between Blue Esports Fire on the blue side and TA Spectre on the red. Everyone looks like they're just going to get started off, the classic 5-point here, but what are you looking to see out of the early game, Feedonomics?
A lot of fights, 20-3, 10 minutes into the game, Narco. Why not, right? Like, you know, go big, go big or go home. That is not a prediction. Nobody marked that one against me, but that would be pretty hype. I'm sure that nobody would complain.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would complain. I feel that maybe you'll get pinched a little bit, though, as color casting. You know, you just won't have as much to talk about. That being said, a little bit of drama as we see Snowlife, Paneer, and Tyrant Rex all move in and get some deep vision of the enemy jungle here. Blue Esports Fire are going to have to clear this red buff on a ward.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be relatively safe, right? Like, and you actually, this is interesting. Tyrant starting at his red, so we have a little bit of a flip on the jungle. Just a old flopperoo. So let's see what happens with this. If there's any invades early, or if we just try to go for a traditional clear and we're just trying to act like we started it the opposite way.
Yeah, I don't think we got much of a fake leash from Paneer and Snowlife. They came down and showed on the wave, I believe. So with that in mind, everyone kind of knows where these junglers are starting. Austria's walking up pretty far, though, and there is vision in that bush, so Snowlife is able to get some solid poke in.
Oh man, we get to play the minigame game with Snowlife just stacking up souls, too.
Yeah, for sure. That's always something to watch out for. I feel you really like that statistical side of things, Feedonomics. Ooh, and there we see the root immediately get cleansed by Rhaegar the Knoll. They are not trifling with that push power from the Ashe and Senna there in the bot side of the map.
Yeah, but I don't know if you needed to cleanse right there or not. I mean, maybe it's just to get away from the damage and not worry about it at all, right? But there is no kill summoner on the side of Spectre. There's no ignite, there's no exhaust. So I don't know if there was any potential to die right there for Rhaegar.
That's definitely true. It could just be to keep a health advantage in the lane, as we do see the longsword and 3-pot start for Rhaegar the Knoll. And there is going to be the root coming down onto the Senna. In fact, a lot of damage being traded back and forth. That volley from Paneer going to do a lot to Rhaegar the Knoll, and Austria's is just too low to push forward further, though. So for the time being, things are going to remain at parity. Some pings coming up for the top side of the map. That will be Tyrant Rex and Fossil Dyna moving up to grab that topside Scuttle Crab. Hecarim is in the area, though. We'll see what Irdesai decides to do.
He's gonna decide to walk away. Like, there's in no world do you want to walk into that as a Hecarim. Like, you have a Cassin in your mid lane, right? He's level 4. It's as close to like a caster minion that you can get in League of Legends right now, I think.
Basically. Yeah, a lot of solid movement, though, from TA Spectre. They're trying to group up and find a kill to start this game off right. Snowlife is going to be caught out by Rhaegar the Knoll, and Irdesai is going to come in here. Tyrant Rex wants to push this, though, and will flash forward to get the stun down onto the Jinx. Paneer also going to push over the wall to get some damage, but they're going to get root. First blood going to go over to Jinx, who's going to get excited, and now Tyrant Rex is in a little bit of trouble. Irdesai taking damage from Snowlife, but Snowlife is going to have to try to disengage right here. Austrias has no mana to keep that fight going.
That was an incredible exhaust from the side of Blue Esports to make sure that Ashe did not have the damage to finish off Rhaegar there.
Yeah, for sure. Really solid decision making by Blue Esports. Fire will put them up 2-0 here, and they're starting the game off right with a 1,000 gold advantage over to some of these core carry champions, Phenomics.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. You love to see it. Like Hecarim and Ashe both walking away from a kill there, right? Or with a kill. I mean, I guess they also walked away from a kill. Maybe Cynic could have died.
Yeah, that was a tough one. There was very little mana on either side to play with, and I do like the fact that they're going a bit safe here. You got a lot of gold. I don't know if pushing the equation further just to risk yourselves dying and perhaps giving some of that back over to the bot side of the map for TA Spectre would be worth it. But we shall see how they decide to answer back now that they are all returning to lane. Noon Quiver and Boots already completed for the Jinx.
Hear me out, though. Hear me out, though. Twist the knife.
In what way?
Just immediately go for the demoralizing kill shot. Like, you had such a good situation right there, TA Spectre, but we're gonna take it away with the triple kill. That's what I meant. But it looks like, oh man, they're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, huge claps coming through. Snowlife and Tyrant Rex on the far side going to try to catch out Rhaegar the Knoll and Austraeus. The hook is not going to land there. Rhaegar the Knoll, though, really caught out, trying to get a kill traded back, but Veneer is going to stay alive for the time being. Iridescide now in the area to try to get something done in turn. Meanwhile, top side of the map, big trades going on between Argo, the Radis, and Korn. And so far, with
he's in the death realm
and forced to flash out, we shall see whether or not we're going to get a cross-map trade here. Oranhorn coming down. Korn going to emerge from the death realm, but very, very low. And that tank shred coming through. Argo the Radis with a solo bolo.
Yeah, that was a lot. Oh,
and they re-engage, yeah, bot side of the map as well. Sorry, Feedonomics. I don't think you're getting the chance to talk in this early game.
No, I mean, I was concerned. I was concerned for Seraphine.
We all are concerned for Seraphine. Everyone hates that champion.
What?
Everyone hates that champion, and we love her, so we don't want to see her get hated on, you know what I'm saying? Iridescide, they're going to run in onto Veneer here. They did not have that flash up, and Iridescide will grab a kill. 4-1 is the current score in favor of Blue Esports Fire. Korn going right back in after teleporting to lane, though. They want to try to prevent Argo the Radis from backing and really beginning to snowball that lane with some solid item pickups.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're... Like, as long as it wasn't, he thought he was out of mana, so he thought he'd fight back, right? Like, because I guess Mordekaiser's always out of mana. I don't know if I like this dragon.
Yeah, and I don't think that Blue Esports Fire know about it either. Feedonomics, they will, in fact, peel away from that neutral objective. They're all a little bit too low, and the death timers are such that Tyrant Rex was already back in the area.
Mm-hmm. That would have been an unbearable mistake.
Oh, God.
Got one in! Got one in early!
Yeah, for sure. Fossil Dyna missing a charm right there after Mr. Topnapun decides to void walk forward, and they're going to continue that push in here. Solid trade coming out from the Kassadin.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... It took 2 rotations. Like, I mean, and that's just a test to, like, the power of Kassadin early, right? Like, imagine 2 Ari rotations right there, what Kassadin's health would have been at, even with the passive giving magic reduction.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
Oh, but here we go, we got Iridescide.
Iridescide has that ultimate up. Onslaught of the Shadows is in the works as we see them drop it down onto both champions. Veneer going to be pushed back towards the enemy team, and Snowlife is going to have to flash to get back under tower here, but Mr. Topnapun wants more. They're going to try to push this wave in and go for the dive at the end of the day. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Argo the Radis just trading onto Korn pretty heavily here, and there is the teleport coming out. Fossil Dyna coming into the area to try to stop Mr. Topnapun from doing anything drastic, and they will be charmed, but in turn, Encore will be dropped to trade back and prevent the Kassadin from dying, and with that in mind, the Void Walk forward will claim the kill for Mr. Topnapun. Snowlife going down right there, and Ari having to cluster under that turret.
You know, Blue Esports, this game does not look like they're playing like a last place team.
Yeah, not at all. Really solid calls, great coordination on these dives, and that has snowballed their lead to 15,000 gold at 9 minutes versus 13.7 for the side of TA Spectre. They're at 6-1, and they're going to look for this dragon here.
Yeah, and I mean,
Ooh, the Death Realm being dropped top side of the map. Tyrant Rex getting a bit caught out, trying to invade there. And then now they will get bonked heavily. And Volibear's going to be forced to ult plus flash over the wall to try to get away. But Topnapun's going to go forward with the Void Walk. There is the lightning coming down, and the stun will be dropped on the Kassadin in turn. There we see the Ornhorn being dropped. Double knockup. And that turn of the fight will mean that Korn will be able to get a revenge kill against Mr. Topnapun. And it will continue to be a melee as Korn will, in fact, get the double-double. Tyrant Rex, the only one falling on the red side there, top lane.
Yeah, you don't want to see that. You don't want to get like your big wall of a tank going. If you're Blue Esports, like that's not a situation you want to find yourself in.
Wait, hang on a second. When did Rhaegar the Nolan Austrius die? Did we just see a huge near wipe for TA Spectre and we didn't even notice? The score's 7-5 all of a sudden, and they're suddenly back in the gold lead.
Huh, that is wild. Yeah, I guess we had more action happening in the bot whenever everything was going on in the top lane.
First, this automatic observer not being able to give us both of the action at once, and suddenly things are really beginning to turn around. Gold is about even now, maybe slightly favored for red team. But we got a whole lot of the game in front of us here because of that Feedonomics.
Yeah, oh, I mean, what's the next Drake? Ooh, it's an Infernal Drake. So that'll be a big dragon for sure. Whichever team gets that, I feel like will be sitting a little prettier than the other one. And you already have a Hextech Drake on the side of Blue Esports. So I do like that a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty valuable for champions like the Kassadin here. And across the map, we're just seeing these trades and aggressive plays back and forth. Meanwhile, bot side, Volibear going to show in the area. Austrius and Rhaegar the Nolan pushing up pretty far. They're very confident. The Encores are going to come out, but it's not going to be able to land to start that fight off, though. But now it's a 3v3 bot lane. We love these kinds of games. Paneer going to be forced to Gale Force their way back towards tower.
That's one of those situations on where the band comes out to play their encore, but nobody asked for it.
Mr. Topnapun getting caught out on a control ward. They tried to void walk into the area, but got punished for doing so by Snow Life. And now the fight is behind the enemy lines. Eardasai gonna run forward here, trying to get some damage down onto Paneer. Tyrant Rex, meanwhile, trying to find a way to peel people off. Faisal Dyna in the area, and ultimate being dropped by multiple people on the red side here. They're going to be able to kill Rhaegar the Null, but Paneer will go down in turn as Eardasai and Austrius are going to try to run for the hills. Center route not going to land, and that is going to be a big beat drop from the Seraphine to help get the blue team out.
Yeah, it's just... these fights, that was good vision by TA Spectre, though.
Yeah, for certain.
The pink ward being in that tiny brush. I mean, really, all the vision they have over there. Nothing is left unseen in their jungle at the moment. Oh no!
Ooh, Austrius using that blast plant over the wall and running right into the face of Snow Life here. And while they are close to tower, which will prevent a further engage, that is a big chunk of damage being dropped down onto the support for Blue Esports. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Faisal Dyna getting traded on pretty heavily by Mr. Topnapun. Rift Herald being dropped bot side of the map. There's the flashback towards tower from Rhaegar the Null, and it looks like they will be rooted in turn. Huge possible dive coming through here as the Rift Herald sets up for the charge, but Eardasai is going to come back to prevent that from really occurring. Onslaught of Shadows in, but will get rooted in turn. Paneer able to get out of that one with their skin intact. A lot of really dramatic plays across the map right now, Feedonomics. This game is anyone's guess.
Yeah, it's definitely up in the air right now. You got to think, without ultimates on the side of TA Spectre, I mean, it doesn't look like either team really has too many ults. I guess Blue Esports does have most players at the moment. While we are waiting on cooldown for all of bot lanes and the jungle there on the side of TA Spectre.
Yeah, for sure. Current kill score is 8-6, but it is only a very small gold lead in the count of hundreds over to Blue Esports Fire right now. And we shall see if that turns around at all. Argo the Rat is continually bullying out this Ornn, but Korn, sitting there with that Grasp of the Undying, is just able to stay relatively healthy and grab the farm that they so desire, which means that in terms of CS topside, it is actually not the Mordekaiser that's ahead.
Yeah, that double kill was not the best in the world for Blue Esports at all. It gave Orn all the confidence they needed. You know, a little bit of money to buy things too. Oh,
For sure, Fossil Dyna gonna walk right by Irdasai. Irdasai is gonna realize it at the last moment and E onto the Ahri. That Ahri will just dash away, and now they are moving towards the bot side of the map. They're setting up as a death bush here. Austrius and Rhaegar the Knoll. Maybe
right,
the check a little bit, and there's the huge engage coming through. Irdasai gonna run in, and Encore will be dropped. That's a lot of people. Charm, Mr. Topnapun coming around to try to clean this one up, but the damage being traded back is just too much. The double ADC being chaotic. Argo the Rat is gonna put Snowlife into the death realm. Now they're gonna go on the run. Meanwhile, Volibear gonna look for the re-engage. Will come on and slam, and welcome to the jam down onto Austrius, who will fall, but Argo the Rat will kill Fossil Dyna in turn. And right now, it looks like across the map, people are losing their health, and it seems to be going in favor of TA Spectre as Argo the Radis will get picked off. Irdasai's trying to make their way back towards tower. There is a range advantage as we see the flash forward from Snowlife, and Paneer will be able to pick that one up, and it is the healing grace of Snowlife that will try to save them. Bash will, in fact, die from that.
Oh no, but it goes to no one. Tragedy.
Wild play for sure, and we see Tyrant Rex and Snowlife rotate over. They have taken that first tower top as well. That's something to note here, Feedonomics, and all of a sudden they're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they did that. They did that without their top laner. So if you're on the side of Blue Esports, you definitely have to worry. A lot of your advantages that you had early game are all but evaporated. Like just straight up gone.
Yeah, you've given a little bit over 2,000 gold now of an advantage to the red side. And TA Spectre, they aren't super far ahead, but their dominance in that last team fight shows that they are able to take these sustained engages and turn them in favor of Red Squad. So that's something to watch out for here. Rhaegar the Knoll is not fully scaled up yet. They have not grabbed first item. Meanwhile, Paneer has been sitting on that Gale Force for quite the while. Yeah, that was, I wouldn't even consider it like a good fight for Blue, because speaking of good fights, sorry Feedonomics, we get a huge rush in from Irdasai, and it looks like with Call of the Forge God being dropped, Orn is trying to save Paneer, but it's not going to happen. The ADC will be picked off, and now things are going to continue with a huge grass coming through for the Mordekaiser. Argo the Radis is doing so much damage in this fight as Volibear will get shut down as well. Corn forced to flash over the wall, and that is the turnaround that Blue Esports Fire needed. They had one disastrous team fight, and they will answer back by picking up the Rift Herald.
Wow, Argo literally standing in like 4 people just going, do your worst. I'm here for that. You know what would be really fun? Is if you could still rain Mordekaiser. Talk to me, Ryan. I'll get you some good buff ideas going. How fun would that be, though? You old Zane, and then all of a sudden you're swinging a flail instead of a mace.
Balanced team lead over here in the color casting booth. Argo the Radis getting a solid wave pushed in topside of the map. Corn is going to become pretty powerful later on for certain here, Feedonomics. But for the time being, I think that the Mordekaiser is fully in effect. They have their completed boots, and they also have that Rift Maker built.
Yeah, just like I said, Argo being able to fight inside of basically the whole team aside from Ahri there, right? Yeah, that was who was missing in that fight, because she's still they're still bot lane, but that was amazingly like beefy. And then finishing it off with going, hey, why don't you and I have a moment to hang out in the Death Realm?
You just want some private alone time with your sworn enemy for sure here.
Hands in the Death Realm.
Oh gosh. Across the map, items are beginning to come in. We got Eclipse built onto that Senna alongside Boots of the Swiftness. Meanwhile, Luden's Echo going to be the item of choice for Fossil Dyna. That's something we don't really get to see as often here. Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming down in turn, and there's the Ornhorn being blown. Rhaegar the Knoll going to get knocked up and put brittle, but is under tower, which means that we will not be seeing a full kill onto this Jinx. They're going to look to back here alongside their support.
Yeah, it's unlucky that the cleanse had to get burned there, but I don't think they make it out otherwise.
Yeah, solid election to drop that summoner spell here, and that does mean that you're going to have a little bit of a gap with which to pick off Rhaegar the Knoll come across the next team fight. We are about a minute and a half away from a Drake, so I think that's probably when the drama is going to happen, but maybe I spoke too soon. Argo the Rat is going to get a good grab down onto Paneer, but will get rooted in turn by Snowlife. Earthside going to rush forward here, and now they're a little bit pincered off. Super Mega Death Rocket, not quite enough to take out Paneer, but they will be put in the Death Realm. Argo the Rat is fighting right in the midst of so many people, and will be able to get the kill down on to the enemy ADC, but Khorne will go on a killing spree in return, and now Rhaegar the Knoll and Austrius are going to have to stand up to the might of these three players from TA Spectre as they will try to rock this wave down mid lane and maybe siege a tower.
Yeah, I don't know if they actually get into siege of the whole tower though, but like you have Fossil on the bot lane doing a very good job of pushing down something.
That's definitely true. The fact you're able to do all that without the Ahri is really concerning for Blue Esports. TA Spectre is not fighting at full force, and they are still doing a heck of a lot of damage to the team. Ooh, but Mr. Tomnapin's going to go right down onto Fossil Diana, going to be forced to use the Spirit Rush to try to get away here. We see the Void walk forward, and now they're in the middle of the wave. There's the flash. They really want this kill, but Fossil Diana is going to make it all the way back towards tower, and that's so many resources expended by the Kassadin.
Yeah, and speaking of resources expended by the Kassadin that they could have used right about now.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's the Void Walk backwards, but that is the three-man collapse coming through. Mr. Tomnapin going to be heavily punished for that chase.
Yeah, it was definitely a little overzealous to pop that flash when they did. Perhaps using that earlier in the exchange would have been the right play there, because then it at least gives you a chance to follow up. But as far away as they were in the lane at that point in time, and the resets that they had used with Spirit Rush.
Dragon is now up, and we do have TA Spectre with vision on it, but they haven't fully collapsed onto that neutral objective yet. We shall see what the rotations begin to look like. Argo the Ratus waiting in the wings, has that scanner, so he's going to be able to approach without vision, and he may just look to take the Volibear to Brazil. Meanwhile, Austria is getting charmed and immediately knocked out here. Snowlife really pumping in the damage. Mr. Tomnapin going to go forward. Big Everfrost, and that is a huge engage coming through for Earthside as well, as we see everyone split. That is going to be Jinx going down on a double kill for Paneer. But Paneer is now the one facing the ire of the Horsey, but Snowlife is going to swoop in as a Guardian Angel, and now it is Argo the Ratus right here trying to do as much damage as he can. He is a monster, will get the double kill, but Khorne will in turn ensure that an ace comes through for TA Spectre, and this big burly boy will just walk with the wave and start hitting that mid tower.
Yeah, and the mid tower will probably fall to this next wave.
Yeah, I would imagine so, but Dragon's still up.
Push up. Yeah, I mean, but nobody's taking Dragon right now. That being said, those are some big mace bonks, Narco.
The damage, especially against squishy champions like Paneer and Snowlife, if you're able to get on them and use the Death Realm, you really have a solid chance of turning around fights right there. Things were a little bit discordant just due to the positioning of everyone from Blue Esports Fire, but they could still put up a fight. We shall see, though, whether or not that gold that they just gave over to some of these big players will be enough to turn things firmly in TA Spectre's favor. They are now sitting on a little bit more of a gold lead. It's hovering around 3K right now.
Ooh, and now Ari being the first person to get the upgraded Ornn item on the side of TA Spectre.
Yeah, that's definitely something worrisome to think about. That's a lot of burst damage that can go down onto Rhaegar the Knoll and Austrius, who will have to position magnificently in order to prevent themselves from being taken out early on into fights. A lot of vision over this bush. There's the charm coming through Earthside, though. Just going to hit the E and run away. And Argo the Ratus is just going to confidently stride forward to pass those wards. He does not care. And it looks like we're going to be getting another big engage. Blue team starting up that dragon. They want to get to a second one, but look at the collapse down mid lane right now. Huge rotation and big call from TA Spectre. They're going to have to watch in horror as so much of this mid lane is going to get vanquished and demolished here. Are they going to be able to get all the way to this inhibitor?
Not all the way to the inhib. Like, you have too much clear on the side of Blue Esports. Like, but, you know, they just get to walk away. This blue buff is theirs. Maybe they think about it. I don't know if they'll do it. I feel like that's dangerous.
Yeah, I don't think a Baron call is really in the cards right now. Even though we do have Hecarim sitting bot side still, I don't really know if they're actually on any of the vision that TA Spectre has down. And there we see Super Mega Death Rocket coming into the area alongside that vision cone in order to confirm where TA Spectre is, and that will deter them from starting up this Baron. Or maybe not, never mind.
Will it? Are you sure?
Okay, never mind. They thought better of it. Interesting calls all around. I want to hear what their comms are like right now, that's for sure. Argo the Rat is just going to split bot side while all of these shenanigans are going on.
Start it. Why? No, not right now. What? No, don't start it. Like maybe something like that. That would be my guess.
Yeah, and in turn, Argo is going to get a solid turret worth of gold over to their side right now. They're just going to continue this push. It's going to take multiple people to take down this Mordekaiser right now, and I think that is one of the bright spots for sure for Blue Esports. Even though they don't have as many towers and therefore not as much priority across the map, some of the individual players definitely are pretty strong. That being said, now Ornn, because he was able to scale up so easily early on into this game, he's really beginning to drop tons of gold worth of items. Eye of Luden and Typhoon already completed by Ahri and Ashe respectively.
Oh, not allowed to recall.
Never allowed to recall. A support can never get peace in this game, don't you know?
Recall? Not happening. Not in my Rift.
Yeah, recalls, sure, eventually, but no free calls.
Yeah, never. We take those.
No free calls.
No free calls, man.
No free calls?
You can't sit on a ward. You can't sit on a ward and expect to do that.
All right, and there's the Baron probably being started up now. Meanwhile, bot side of the map, Argo is just going to continue to push into no man's land. And it looks like red team want one more pick before they actually decide to start up the big purple worm. People know that they are there, and we're going to have to see how the approach will play out. Austrias and Iridescent both have their ultimates up. So there is the ability to turn this teleport coming through. That is Ahri in the area. Ornhorn going to be blown and going to knock up Austrias, who's going to be the first one caught out here. Senna going to get the kill down, but there's a huge wraparound. Iridescent is going to get a shutdown onto Paneer, and now the approach is to be had for sure. Tyrant Rex on the far side, but Fossil Dyna is just doing so much damage now. That will, in fact, be the Hecarim going down, and Argo the Rat is soon to follow. Mr. Topnapun also taken out means that it is up to Rhaegar the Null to try to turn this one around, and they will grab a kill, go excited, but it is now a 1v3, and they're going to try to have to get out of dodge here.
I got a dream.
I don't see the dream coming to reality. Sure? There's the charm coming through. Rhaegar the Null not able to turn that one around. The damage is too much. Corn once again going to confirm an ace for TA Spectre.
If that charm wouldn't have landed, which is, like saying, if that car wasn't there, but still. Oh man, that's such a good word.
Yeah, once again, this Ornn is just dumping those upgrades. He is level 16, everyone. This is a scary champion for sure, and everyone else is just able to deal bucket loads on to Blue Esports Fire. It's going to be an uphill battle for sure. They did stop the Baron. That is notable and valuable, but I think it's only going to be a few moments before TA Spectre try to start it up once more.
We'll see. Looks like right now you've got your mid laner and your bot laner down, or your mid laner and your jungler in the bot lane hanging out. I don't know what's quite gonna happen down there. When's next Drake? We got next Drake in 30 seconds.
Yeah, a lot of drama across the map for sure. We do have a Drake coming up pretty soon here, and it would be nice to try to get to Soul Point if you're Blue Esports. Corn getting harassed, but he is so darn tanky. Rhaegar the Null able to put but a scratch on that champion. Meanwhile, Tyrant Rex is going to set up for this Drake. It'll be interesting to see whether or not we actually get a pivot over from Blue Esports, but it looks like they actually want to try to handshake away and grab the Baron here. It's maybe a little bit too overeager of a play. Argo the Radis is in the area. Mr. Topnapun is going to follow up. Tyrant Rex peeling off of that dragon, and there's the ultimate being dropped down immediately onto Ahri. Fossil Dyna, though, going to go into the Death Realm and relatively immobile. Is going to pull away the Mordekaiser. All the while, the fight is really not going well for Blue Esports. Tyrant Tyrant Rex going to slam right down onto Rhaegar the Nolan. Austrius is just caught up in a huge group. Mr. Topnapun and Mordekaiser are going to try to rotate back down, but it's going to be 4v2. This is looking pretty disastrous for the side of Blue Esports Fire as they lead or watch TA Spectre lead a huge wave down mid.
Yeah, and that's sort of the issue with having like no true tank and losing your tank during team fights because they can grab a squishy to try and fight.
Yeah, for sure. And the problem is that like Argo the Radis is such a huge source of damage and tank for Blue Esports Fire that when he goes into Death Realm, sure, he is isolating Paneer, but he is also losing the ability to work off the rest of the team there. And in turn, we just saw everyone crumble without the presence of that top laner.
No, it's definitely true. I do not disagree. I really enjoyed what happened the first time he fought around the Baron Pit, where basically he was tanking 4 of them, and right before he died, he pulled Snow Life into the Death Realm with him and got the chance to not die.
Yeah, definitely.
Ultimately, like that's top-notch analysis here, guys.
I mean, that's what you have to look for on Mordekaiser in desperate situations like this. You can't afford to abandon your team. And as we say that, TA Spectre, they're going to rock right up and maybe look to start up the Baron.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, right now they're still they're waiting. They're dancing about it, but they haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Maybe get a play on Tyrant here. No.
I think that they may have the ability to just, with that mid inhibitor gone, rock up and take it. I don't really know if they actually need a pick anymore. Things are really beginning to cascade in favor of TA Spectre, and it looks like what I'm saying is coming true as Tyrant Rex is going to start that up with the rest of their crew here. Fossil Dyna just going to wait in that bush, trying to charm anyone who walks up. We shall see what the engages look like here. Yeah, we see the engage come through. Red team is going to grab the Baron Nashor here. Fossil Dyna being chased all the way back by Irtisai. And that is a long-range Encore that unfortunately will not hit anybody before it's going to be pulled back into the melee. He will go godlike, though, in turn, and that will be Onslaught of Shadows not able to do enough to save the Cassid, and everyone has fallen left and right now for Blue Esports. They're trying to get damage down onto some of these big players, but the ace will come through. Snow Life is grabbing a double kill for themselves, and every single person on TA Spectre has scaled magnificently. They're gonna all teleport mid lane. They're all gonna look for the win.
Yeah, I think this is GG for game 1. Like I said, wanted blue. A really strong showing in the beginning of that game. Oh man, the dunk to kill the tower. That's tragic.
Yeah, they're just going to mow this one down right here. We had a good showing from Blue Esports Fire early on. They really tried their darndest, and we saw them actually pull ahead with some solid plays. But at the end of the day, Feedonomics, they just could not make it work. So many of these champions from TA Spectre got huge power spikes. Ornn got so far ahead, and in turn, they were just distributed the tools with which to bring about the doom for Blue Esports Fire. We'll see if they can come back and repeat that again, go up 2-0 here against the bottom ranked team. Or alternatively, are we going to be seeing the salty run back and the comeback in turn?
I want a 3-game series.
You want a 3-game series?
Who doesn't want a 3-game series, right, Nargo? Like you don't have anything to do tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would love a 3-game series here. I really am rooting for Blue Esports Fire to try to take this one home at the end of the day. And in turn, we will need a 3-game series in order to do that for sure, Feedonomics. But also, you know, I got people living right next door. I'm yelling and hollering at 9 p.m. at night. It's a fun time all around, but I think that in my heart, TA Spectre kind of have this one. They really showed why they are sitting at near the top of the leaderboards here for the Infernal Division, but there's still a lot of questions on the table, and there's still at least one more full game to be played out here. We're going to take it to a quick break, and when we come back, we will be in draft for game number 2.
Don't go anywhere.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the series between TA Spectre and Blue Esports Fire. We are in game number 2 after witnessing TA Spectre scale up and come back from a little bit of an early lead by Blue Esports Fire. They ultimately took the series, though, and in turn, they are going to look to wash out Blue Esports Fire and go up 2-0 to close out this series. Feedonomics, what are we going to see as an adjustment this time around?
I don't know. Like, I really did enjoy the cohesion and the execution early game for Blue. So I feel like sticking with that basically the whole game would be the way to go. It was just there were a couple of fights and a couple of overcommitments where it didn't work out as cohesively. And like chat was saying, if they do go back into Mordekaiser pick, then I really feel like Argos needs to be a little more, I guess, not deliberate with his ultimates, but he just needs to make sure that his ultimates are timed at the proper window. Especially if he's the most ahead person on their team, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's one thing when you're behind on Mordekaiser just to sit there and go, I'm gonna do what I can to take out their apex predator of a player, right? But when you're the top dog on your team, like you were saying, if you make it a 4v4 but you have other people like that are at a disadvantage, then you're really just hurting your team.
Yeah, we saw big picks coming through, but at the end of the day, Argo the Radis was not able to emerge from the Death Realm fast enough to turn around fights and make sure that their team got ahead. So with that in mind, Blue Esports Fire gonna look for a little bit of an adjustment here. They will lock in that early Seraphine once again, but it looks like they are actually the ones hovering the Senna this time. TA Spectre first picked the Ashe.
Ooh. Still. Looks like we're going to go with like either a mid lane Seraphine or an ADC Senna. I want to see an ADC Senna. I know it's not going to happen, Narco, but don't take this away from me.
I think that you could do fasting Senna with Seraphine bot lane, taking farm. I think that getting gold onto that champion is pretty valuable, and Senna obviously can become a pretty strong threat regardless of what strategy they ultimately decide to go for here. But there's definitely going to be a lot on the table, and we may just see them adjust after they see the first few picks come through for TA Spectre. That will be an Ornn locked in. Corn living up to their name, gonna grab it a second time here. I'm surprised that Blue Esports Fire actually stuck with such a consistent banning philosophy here. I kind of wish we saw a little bit more targeted attention being paid to some of these comfort picks for TA Spectre, but instead we're getting Lux, Ivern, Jarvan the fourth again.
I mean, I don't know. Let's be perfectly honest. We saw that Lux last week in mid-season tournament, and it was a really scary Lux.
Yeah, that's true.
Like that was literally the reason that they won game 1 or the game you DC'd on. I can't remember which one was which now. That is a couple of weeks ago. But Snow Life on the Lux was huge.
Yeah, I do think I remember that coming out from the hazy fog of my memory at the end of the day. Feedonomics, TA Spectre gonna respond to this bot lane with a Blitzcrank. I really like this choice. It's great into the Seraphine and the Senna as well. It's very difficult for either of those champions to remain mobile and get away from this pick champion. Meanwhile, Viego going to be locked in, probably going into the hands of Iridesai there in the jungle instead of the Hecarim.
Now we'll have to see what happens. And we didn't even talk about Spectre's bans being the same bans that they ran last time either. It was just they just said run it back.
Yeah, for sure. The run back is in full effect for both sides here. I don't think that TA Spectre was all too worried, especially late game, about any of the champions, but I could have been happy seeing a pivot away from banning something like the Veigar and instead go for knocking out the Hecarim here. But regardless, Blue Esports Fire going through the kind of interesting decision to just not pick that champion anyways. We should see what happens, though, for how they're going to fully adjust their comp. I would like to see a full tank here in the second round of picks. They ban out Trundle and Vex. Meanwhile, TA Spectre going to go with taking and pinching away Zillion once again alongside the Twisted Fate from the champion pool, and Silas will be the response for Mr. Topnapin.
Yeah. Oh, Ooh, I get to see Silas. Look, we've got a whole enemy champion on the side of Blue Esports. They can steal an ultimate and a champion.
That's
This
true.
is
It's
exciting.
the steal comp for sure. Yeah.
It is a Mr. Steal Your Comp.
Speaking of theft, we've got some identity theft here with Nico going to get locked in for Fossil Dyna. That was something we actually saw banned last time. I guess it's a comfort pick here, and therefore it will be a quick grab for that side. TA Spectre have a lot of good ultimates to steal away, I gotta say, in applause for the Silas. I know I bashed that pick before here, Feedonomics, but right now it's looking pretty darn tasty.
You can't bash the Silas pick. I actually played him top pretty recently in a like grueling high elo game because we know how good I am at this. But I got to play against a Malphite, and I killed Malphite more with his ultimate than he did with his ultimate to me.
It's always nice to show off with that for sure, and it's very demoralizing as well. Corky going to be the other lock-in here. I guess it's actually going to be something like a Silas top.
It's Silas top. We have Corky going mid. Then we have a Seraphine Senna bot lane with a Viego jungle. You know what? What if it's a Viego top with the Silas jungle?
You know, what if it's a Corky jungle
Corky bot
with
lane.
a Silas top and a Viego mid? You never know with these comps, do ya? I don't think Corky can actually clear, but I'm just illustrating a point here, Feedonomic.
Hey, man, don't hate on Gatling Gun. Gatling Gun might be a lot of clear early game. Maybe
Is it?
Maybe not.
So someone test this out for us and get back to us in chat.
Yeah, somebody
please.
go into a custom really quick and see if you can clear the big buffs level 1 with just Corky. Whichever skill you think they'll actually be able to do it with, but I don't know.
We are inventing the meta here in the Blue Otter League. That being said, Blue Esports Fire, they didn't have a tank last time, and they sure as heck don't have a tank this time. This is going to be a tough composition to execute on, I think. But what do you have to say about that, Feedonomics?
I don't know if I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe at all. I don't know. You didn't see my face in chat before I yawned right there, but it was like it wasn't a good feeling on the side of Blue Esports. Silas does play, or at least did play pretty well into Orin in the past. If only because your Forge God does a little bit better in most circumstances. I don't know. I can't think of how many times I've laned against Nico and how well it plays against Nico as well. And looking at ultimates, like you were saying, they are all pretty good. I don't know how Rek'Sai's interacts with Silas, but I assume that it would be much of the same way. You just get to go invisible and then pop back out and beat somebody up for a second. It'd at least be a guaranteed, like, W followed up by a couple of autos, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how those interact either, but at the end of the day, grabbing Call of the Forge God's really good, and grabbing Enchanted Crystal Arrow is absolutely fantastic on the champion too here. Yeah. Let's get that straight for certain. Feedonomics, but overall,
I'm not talking about the gimmies. I'm thinking of like I'm always thinking of like the B tier and below ultimates. If you can even call them that. Like, obviously we know Ash Arrow and Call of the Forge God are A tier, S tier ultimates to borrow. Right? Just, hey, you're not using that right now, are you, Orin? Because I want to stun your whole team. But there is a lot of strength in the electrostatic field on the side of Blitzcrank as well. You can, and then, Nico and Rek'Sai's ult both make him invulnerable, which is going to be, I don't know, it might be pivotal like on keeping him alive for 1 or 2 more seconds so that he can get another Kingslayer off onto his target.
Yeah, a lot of options for that Silas for sure, but there's other options around the map that I'm also really interested in looking at here. I think Corn once again is going to have a field day. Maybe the Silas matchup isn't fantastic, but the fact that he was so strong on this pick and judging by the name is a little bit of a one trick, if not a huge comfort champion, means that they're going to have to be going up against a pretty large unstoppable force that, as before, is going to put a lot of value onto champions. Paneer will be able to dish out so much if they decide to go for the Gale Force into Typhoon once again, once Ornn scales up. And so I think that this time around, I want to see Blue Esports Fire focus a little bit more topside of the map. I want to see Irdesai trying to harass the Ornn and try to deny a little bit of leveling, XP, gold, all those things in order for them to put off the point in time in which Ornn is able to start distributing their empowered items.
What do you mean unstoppable force? There's no Malphite in this game. Got another one in. Take that, Narco. Where do you think First Blood's gonna go? We could take a break and talk about like how spectator delay started, but we didn't talk about this last time.
Yeah, I'm sorry we didn't get to play our game, although off stream I did say Ari was going to get First Blood, and it didn't happen. So I'm a little bit worried once again playing this. I will give my guess over to... I think Silas is going to go for a roam. I think they're going to roam mid and kill the Nico. I don't know. That's just my like wild guess.
I honestly am worried about Blue Esports' bot lane. I don't think that they survive with an exhaust and a jungler coming to save the day this time. I think Mr. Blitzcrank is like, yo, hey girl, let me grab that. And then he pulls him into a Rek'Sai knockup, and then that kind of ends it.
Yeah, I just want to go with an atypical guess because I don't want to echo sentiments said before, which is why, as the contrarian, I also picked TA Spectre to win this overarching game, but I didn't want to just go with something as basic as Snowlife gets a hook on Blitzcrank and someone dies. It could be the case that we do see the invade, though. I think this is a decent invade comp.
What do you mean? That wasn't generic. I called the bot lane dying to a Snowlife hook. Wow.
Because we'll chalk it up. We'll assign reduced points.
I need a minute. No. I need a minute now, Narco. I gotta get up and walk this off. So I'm gonna call it. I get to call it this time. We're gonna take a break, and we're gonna be back pretty shortly after the spectator delay to get you all into Game 2 of TA Spectre versus Blue Esports Fire here on Blue Otter League 2.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life. I never miss, that's fact, taking big swings, bitch, hand me the bat, put me in the ring, you'll go out in a bag, cause I sing what I mean and I bring it to the mad light. Ain't got time to kill, I got time to feel, I took the red pill, I know life's short so I wanna live real, but how's it supposed to feel? Supposed to feel. How is it supposed to feel? They wanna sing my name, but they holding back. They wanna say they hate, but they know it's cap. I ain't play no games, I just do that's fact. And I don't feel no shame, it's a mood you lack. I go crazy, nah bitch I ain't lazy. Track after track, I work on this shit daily. Pass me the jack, right as fuel, got me hazy. About to unpack all these things I've been chasing. I've got visions in my head, like memories after death. To be a legend instead of something you can forget. I'm living up every breath, I'd rather lead than be led. I'll fill the seats as I spread with every word that I've said.
right, Narco, you're forgiven. We are back, and it does look like we were gonna try some sneaky invade stuff. A quick flash getting blown by Snowlife and Mr. Toppin. I was almost really, really wrong there with that first blood prediction.
I mean, it would still be Snowlife grabbing someone with a hook. So at the end of the day, we would have to give you partial points in our completely erroneous system of determining who is ahead in this bizarre game that we now play at the start of every game. But at the same time, Snowlife basically getting a lot of value from their own flash. They will have Hex up for interplay within that lane, and in turn Corki lost a viable and valuable means of maneuverability, especially against something like Fossil Dyna on that Nico, who's just able to kind of chase them down with W and then E them.
Yeah, though I do
The encroachment across to mid once again. Snowlife sitting right there. There is the ward being dropped in turn, and the hook's actually going to land. Snowlife waiting a little bit long on that, but Tomnapun's in a lot of trouble now. He does not have the flash to get away. Valkyrie either, and there is first blood going over to Fossil Dyna with the help of that Blitzcrank.
Hey, I get partial points.
Yeah, that's true. There's the teleport also being burned. This will be a sitting duck Corki in the mid lane for sure here, and we shall see how that impacts the jungling routes. It looks like both Rek'Sai and Viego are going to be starting on their top. Viego really loves to begin on their red, and Rek'Sai is a little bit more flexible, so I can see why they decided to move over here and begin on their blue buff. Across the map, though, things are going to shake out about as normal as a game with a Blitzcrank can shake out.
As Snowlife's trying for every hook that they can. I love it. You miss 100% of the hooks you don't take.
You also can miss 100% of the hooks you do take if you're me and you're forced to play with Hook Champion for the first time. Argo the Rat is going to go in onto Corn here, but a lot of damage being traded back in turn by the big Ram. I don't really know about that. He'll be able to heal up a little bit, and he does have those potions to chug, but that could have gone a little bit better for that side. Meanwhile, Hook going to land down onto Austrius alongside the knockup, but Paneer is getting harassed heavily by Rhaegar the Knoll in turn. Snowlife going to have to walk up and protect their AD carry pretty bodily here. And we see, once again, those 3 potions by Paneer coming in clutch here.
Yeah, and it was right. It does seem right now the Fasting Senna seems to be the play here, which makes sense. I don't like to make sense though, so I just CS with her in bot lane because I'm bad.
That is true. I too like to CS on Senna, mostly because I get frustrated that my ADC themselves cannot CS properly. But that's a different discussion for a different day, I think. We see Viego show up bot side of the map, and I think that they're going to hide right on the edge of vision. Hook going to come down onto Austrius, who's going to try to kite this one out. Andersai going to W into the area. Ignite is being dropped left and right, and they will continue to walk up to try to harass Paneer. Tyrant Rex getting right over the wall, though. Austrius is going to go down really low. Snowlife trying to kite this one out, but there is the kill picked up by Irdasai onto Tyrant Rex to start things off, and in turn, looks like another kill will go down. And whoa, what in the world? Rhaegar the Knoll popping off right here. And that is, though, a double kill picked up by Paneer in turn. A lot of big trades back and forth. Somehow that still goes in favor of TA Spectre.
Yeah. I think
the flash forward from Rhaegar the Knoll into a root and a shutdown going through, evening up that gold. It is now 3-3 here, 4 minutes into this game.
Yeah, I think that they could have played that a little bit cleaner, and if he would have soul transferred into the Blitzcrank, right? I don't think that Urusai would have died there.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult to see what happens, but these fights are just such chaos with Viego taking bodies left and right. Snowlife going to roam through for mid lane. Mr. Tomnapun forced to Valkyrie their way back out of that one. But Tyrant Rex is prowling on the top side of the map. They're going to tunnel forward. Argo the Rat is first to flash out on this Silas back towards tower.
Yeah, didn't want to get knocked up there. That would have been no fun.
Yeah, they are going to stay in lane, though. Irsai is in the area to maybe turn things around down onto Corn, but Corn, I think, sees what is up a little bit and smells something fishy going on, so he's going to walk back, walk out of the way of the chain grab, and now the fight is in full effect once more, but the black mists coming out pretty quickly will force this big Ornn to disengage topside.
See, but now you're getting into the situation where Argo may not be losing these trades as long as the skills land. I mean, and I know that that's a very generic John Madden thing to say, right? Like, if the wide receiver catches the ball and scores a touchdown, it's 6 points. But Ornn can't keep up with the damage output that Silas puts out. Listen to me acting like I know what I'm talking about.
No Life going to get a big hook down onto Rhaegar the Knoll. Paneer going to walk forward to try to get some more damage down. Meanwhile, topside of the map, Argo the Radis is getting harassed heavily by Corn. They're incredibly low. There's a flash forward. Corn trying to pick this one up, and eventually, even with that heal off the W, the Silas will fall.
Yeah, I missed that because I went back bot lane because I thought that there would be more of a fight. There was not.
There was not. That's the name of the game with Blitzcrank. You either get full all-ins or someone just immediately books their way back out of the open maw of Paneer and Snow Life. There is no in-between. You either get the full fight or things are over in just a few seconds. We do have first dragon up. It is a mountain drake.
Oh no,
so far, nobody is going for it so far. Irsai going to run forward here, though, and that is Rhaegar going incredibly low. Irsai going to grab the body of Paneer, though, and now Snow Life is trying to move backwards a little bit. Irsai using that volley from the Ash to take down the Blitzcrank in turn, and they will Essence steal over. They're looking for the hook on a Tyrant Rex. They won't be able to grab it, though. That being said, things once again somehow landing even on the board from these trading of kills. It is 5-5.
Yeah, and you know, here we go. We got two Forge Gods in the top lane at the moment.
It will be a little bit difficult for Tyrant Rex and company to move over to this dragon, given the fact that a lot of damage was done to their bot side by Irdasai's gank, and they will be the first ones in the river to start up this dragon. We do see Blitzcrank rotating over, but I don't think that they're actually going to contest this neutral objective, and that will in fact be claimed by the side of Blue Esports.
Yeah, I mean, easy Drake. Oh no!
Over the wall, another flash forced to be burned by Mr. Topnapun. Yeah, this Corki is just getting heavily harassed by the presence of these players in the mid lane. Rhaegar the Knoll gonna rotate over though to try to get some harass down on to the Rek'Sai in turn. Fossil Dyna, though, waiting in the wings. Snow Life gonna run right back in, get a whiff a hook at nearly point-blank range, though, and now Argo the Rat is using the Soul and Ornn ult, is gonna get the knockup down onto Snow Life. Rhaegar the Knoll gonna be the one picking up that kill at the end of the day, and the push will continue mid. Chaos still standing throughout the map, but right now, it is a 1-kill lead over to Blue Esports Fire.
Half of my 20 kills before 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's a pretty chaotic one, that is for sure here. Rhaegar the Knoll going to return bot side of the map to assist Austrius with this push in. And once again, fasting Senna means that they are going to start stacking pretty rapidly here. And at 3, 1, and 3, they got the income to continue to push forward with this build.
Yeah, already at 28 souls as well. Maybe a little bit more harass is kind of what I want to see coming out of the side of Rhaegar and company to get up to 40 as soon as possible, but you know, beggars can't be choosers.
They cannot, unfortunately. That being said, I don't think anyone's quite in a begging state yet here, Feedonomics. Everyone is doing decently well within their lanes, although topside may be a little bit problematic for Argo the Radis. They are down quite a bit of CS. Bomb Sitter already completed on the Ornn, and a solo Bolo already came through.
The Hex Flash fake out to force a flash. That's tragic.
It always hurts to see. Yeah, Austrius maybe a little bit too twitchy right there, and is going to give up a crucial summoner spell in this lane. They got pretty low mana as well, so that's going to force them to back here. And it looks like with that early Fairy Charm, they are in fact going to continue to build for something pretty supportive, even though they are getting a lot of income from this farm. Knock up topside of the map. Argo the Rat is maybe in a little bit of trouble as Call of the Forge God comes down. He will try to heal back up. He's going to flash away right through the Ornn, and somehow he's able to get his way out of that one.
I would have liked to have seen the W come down a little bit sooner. I mean, you know, Here I am nitpicking Silas play like I know what I'm talking about. I don't have enough mastery points to do that. But just kind of watching the Silas play right now. Wanting to see a little bit more, but at the same time they are a level down. That's definitely not helping things at all.
Nah, and they also just don't have the sustain. They haven't been able to get a solid amount of healing off of Korn, and Korn has Grasp of the Undying, which means that he's just kind of able to tank a lot and stay up topside for these more staccato short trades that we see come through.
Yeah, Grasp is really good. Just the whole fact that you're a big old mean tank who doesn't care is also a pretty big deal. Corrupting Pot, I think, was first item for Orange, whereas it was second item for Silas.
Yeah, Mr. Tomanapun getting chased down quite heavily here, though. Snowlife coming around from the far side, looking for a hook down onto this Corki, but it looks like they're going to lead them towards the Silas. The ping's coming through, but we see the sandwich in full effect. Korn on the far side. There's ultimate being channeled by Fossil Dyna, and that will be it minute by Silas in turn. Senna ultimate coming from across the map. Argo the Rat is going to kill the Nico, and now Rhaegar the Null will kill Paneer meanwhile. Oh, then that is a huge pickup as well as we see the double kill come through for Irdasai here, who will take the body of Rek'Sai and continue to push it forward.
Pause.
Yeah, and there's the pause coming through after all of that chaos. That being said, things going well in favor of Blue Esports Fire as they just picked up 4 whole kills.
Yeah, really good job on Argos right there not to die. That's the kind of Silas play that you want to see. It looks like they held the Nico ultimate. I was calling it Nami earlier. That's me. That's you 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, with the Caitlyn Camille thing. I get it. I put myself through a workshop on it.
But just the Nico ult, casting it a little bit after to allow themselves not to lose to it. So that was pretty smart on their part. What are you thinking about so far? How do you like it? It doesn't matter. They're unpausing. I take it back. This was the me hour.
I'm glad you got more time to talk about your beloved champion. Can you imagine if I played a meta champion, how much we would have to argue with one another to wrest control of the mic here? Imagine if someone played Talia. That's actually my call. If anyone plays Talia in Blue Otter League, I will literally just feature you for the entirety of the match in which you play that champ.
Look. I just like champions, okay?
One specific champion, it looks like Irdasai gonna come through here into the mid lane, coming out of Rek'Sai form to take down some of these turret plates mid. Right now, after that big play came through, we are seeing a firm amount of gold being transferred over in favor of Blue Esports Fire, and they are going to try to take this to a game 3. They have the resources to start trying to do that right now. They're going to drop that Rift Herald mid as well in order to get a charge off and a potential first tower. That being said, we will see the return of Fossil Dyna into the area just in the nick of time to keep that one tower alive. And we are about 18 seconds from the next Drake feed, Nomics.
Yeah, and once again, it's another Infernal Drake, so it's another really important Drake to borrow. Nobody wants to miss out on it. And if you are Snowlife and company, I don't know if you want to be there.
Yeah, the engage coming through bot side hard and fierce. We have a 3v2 down here. Austria is going to drop a beat drop, try to get some slowdown onto Paneer, but it will not translate into a full engage. That being said, Blue Esports are really in the driver's seat when it comes to establishing priority. They have the gold lead with which to do it, and in turn, we are seeing Viego walk up and start up this Infernal.
Ooh, and you do have the package on Corki, though. It looks like he just maybe used it. I think Corki did use the package right there.
Yeah, a little bit of chaos across the map. Who is to say at the end of the day? We'll see if it gets dropped within a fight. I will for sure scream about it.
I mean, I also chat, I don't just play Silas. That's my mid laner choice after with LeBlanc. I'm also a really big fan of Fiora right now.
And thank God we didn't see it picked in this league so far. I'm just kidding.
Aww. Narco! Come on, no bull.
All right now, in terms of itemization, we already got that Kraken Slayer built up onto Rhaegar the Knoll. Meanwhile, Austrias has got that Moonstone Renewer in their pocket, so they're ready to go and really start boosting up this damage resistance here. It may help a little bit with the fact that, once again, we are looking at a team with relatively low tankiness. Meanwhile, Ornn, though, going to be on that Frostfire Gauntlet and is going to be fully on a damage sponge duty for TA Spectre.
Gonna be doing a great job on it, but I just can't help but look at the difference in CS between ADCs.
Wow, it's so big. I don't know how Senna only managed to get 18 CS. That's terrible. It's absolutely astounding to see, especially at this level of play, Feedonomics. But in all seriousness, I'm actually very much impressed with Austrias being able to keep pace with Paneer, especially into a Blitzcrank lane. Obviously, Snowlife has been roaming a lot, but the fact that you aren't seeding a ton of gold bot side of the map is going to be pretty valuable for Blue Esports Fire, and it's one of the reasons why they are managing to sit about 5,500 gold above TA Spectre. A little bit of a death push forming, and we're going to get a confrontation in River, it looks like here. There is the Encore being dropped, but that is Snowlife going incredibly low. Ironside going to come forward. He will steal the body, and that will also be Rek'Sai knocked out as well. A double kill so far for the Viego, and they're going to tunnel forward in Rek'Sai body onto Paneer, who's sent on the run, but the root is too much to bear right there. The beat drop going to seal their fate, as that is yet another champion falling for TA Spectre. 5-13. That is a 3-0 bot side.
This comp does such a good job on keeping Viego alive until he can start resetting. Speaking of keeping people alive so that they can reset. Dueling Forge Gods!
Yeah, the Forge God's being dropped by either side, and there's that heal that we were talking about on Silas coming forward, but Korn tanking so much and is going to continue to try to push this fight. Knockup coming through off of the head, but Argo trying to move their way back towards tower, but Bellow's Breath is going to confirm that kill. Once again, a solo Bolo coming through for Korn. Someone stop putting him on his one trick. Austrias, meanwhile, way too deep, getting knocked up and caught out by Tyrant Rex on the Rek'Sai. Somehow they're able to get away, and we see the rotation for Ironside and Rhaegar the Knoll into the area to ensure that the Seraphine gets out with their bacon intact.
That was pretty crazy living right there.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that happened. Didn't even have flash up for that whole engage, but I guess Blue team just decided at the end of the day it's not worth risking that approach, just due to the fact that they are coming off of some rough fights, which at the end of the day, I like that selection. TA Spectre know how to play from behind, and we have seen them bring through some cutbacks here in the Blue Otter League. But the question is, with these bounties up, can Blue Esports prevent that kind of event from occurring?
Yeah, they didn't in the top lane. Like we did see Ornn get their bounty. But looking in mid and bot, it looks like there's a better chance, right? Mr. Toppin just borrowing his blue buff. Jungle tax.
Jungle tax for sure, but I think when you're on the Corki, you kind of need to start grabbing that buff. It is just super valuable. Meanwhile, bot side of the map, we get this big death ball beginning to set up for the side of TA Spectre. They want to rotate around and get some early domination in order to stop a third dragon from being taken. Tyrant Rex sitting in that pit is going to have to ride their wave right back over, but Ironside going to go dominating off of the fact that an encore was taken. And now he's going to continue to try to push forward for the engage. Fossil Dyna going to drop an E in return in order to root the Viego, who was in that point a Rek'Sai.
This is going to turn into a free, another free bounty for Korn. That Rift Herald is going to fall to them, most likely. I don't think that anybody on the side of Blue Esports Fire is going to get up there in time.
Yeah, no real vision either of that.
Yep. Ornn doesn't care about the damage the Rift Herald's trying to do either.
We just see Austrias and Rhaegar the Knoll pushing through this mid lane due to the fact that Tyrant Rex is only now coming back up. This will be a red team once again starting up the dragon. Blue Esports Fire looking to really stack these and grab an early soul. They've been doing well on that so far. Meanwhile, bot side, Argo the Rat is going to steal away Nico ultimate. He's going to go forward with Everfrost, but is not able to land the stun. And meanwhile, the collapse is coming through for sure. Rhaegar the Knoll in the area. Tyrant Rex will get the kill on to the Silas, but Rhaegar the Knoll on that fasting Senna, will grab one back in turn. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but third Drake over to Blue Esports Fire. Corn wants to start this one off, though, with a knockup on a Rhaegar the Null, and there's a Enchanted Crystal Arrow in turn. The Chain CC is too much for the Senna to bear, and the shutdown will go over to the Nico. Austrius and Irdasai going to have to try to get their way out of the area, as it is a 4v2 for the time being. All the while, Mr. Topnapun going to grab that split topside and hopefully get a turret over to Blue Esports.
Yeah, I don't think the turret is long for this world. There it goes. Okay.
He's really waiting on the auto-attacking those. I think they just wanted the wave to stack up a bit or get thinned.
He wanted the wave to thin out a little bit, like getting rid of the experience that, you know, Nico could take. Yes, Nico.
Or Blitzcrank, who's to say? Nico is everyone, and yet Nico is no one at the same time. No one because nobody plays her, unfortunately.
Why are you just getting all philosophical with me? Like, we're talking about Nico, Natalia. Got a third one in!
Got him! Yeah, did you hear that they're reworking Talia, apparently? Or they're going to do a small rework in the similar vein to, like, what Janna and Ari had?
So you're not gonna like playing her after that?
You see, that is what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I believe in Riot August. I know so many people, you know, crap on the developers, but, you know, the people that work at Riot, they're all pretty darn smart, and hopefully they will keep my girl intact. So far, it's just really a jostling for vision across the map, which is why our commentary has devolved yet again, Feedonomics. But
yeah, we're just
Baron is up now. A big play could translate over into the death march that Blue Esports needs to close this one out quickly, especially before Ornn really begins to drop their ornaments onto people across the map for TA Spectre. That could be their ticket back into this one. The gold gap is not so great that you aren't able to offset it a little bit with some of these buffed items, and it's also not one that can't be offset by just a really solid pick from the likes of Snow Life.
You're gonna get mad at me for puns, but you're gonna say ornaments?
Ornaments is like the standard, you know? Nobody ever disagrees with someone saying ornaments. It's become part of League culture, like Silver Scrapes. Everyone hates Silver Scrapes except in the context of, you know, match 5, in which case everyone loves
that's fair. Yeah, all right, that's the only time. I'm a big fan of Bubble Pop because of League.
Oh, what is that? That's like an old K-pop song, right? Old as in 2013. Oh, the engaged bot side of the map. We see the stolen call of the Forge God go down onto Corn himself, who's very indignant about that being stolen away. They will live under tower, though. Meanwhile, Snow Life looking for a way in alongside a Fossil Dyna, who is taking their form. The Rat is going to jump over the wall. Now we would be the first down. Irdasai going godlike and going to pick up Blitzcrank's form. Going to go forward and grab a hook down onto Fossil Dyna and turn the Heartbreaker being dropped before we could see the Pop Blossom for Fossil Dyna, and that will be yet another one taken off the map in favor of Blue Esports Fire. They are grabbing kills left and right with very little answer.
Yeah, I like it's complete opposite again. Like I said, Blue Esports is playing as confident as they were in the very beginning of the first game. And now it's going to result in a Baron, and then they should just be able to turn it around, reset, and push out a little bit. Get a Dragon Soul off of
it. Yeah, we see the vision come through due to Hawkshot from a Paneer, but I don't think that we're actually going to see TA Spectre be able to do a whole lot with this. Oh gosh, Argo the Rat is too far forward. It's going to give up not only their death, but also a Baron buff. And there is the charm going down. It looks like this is where we're going to see a last stand being made by both sides. The knockup coming through huge for Corn, but everything is so split across the map. It looks like Paneer and Tyrant Rex just didn't want any of those hands, and in turn they're going to peel away and start running. A little bit of discoordination by the side of TA Spectre is going to force Tyrant Rex away from this whole fight. Paneer, meanwhile, looking for an execute.
Paneer, you're not.
Oh, Paneer, you should have just looked for the execute, buddy. We see the wraparound. Irdasai and Austrius are coming down into your area. Paneer coming forward, though. Maybe this is the turnaround they need. There's the ultimate being channeled or will be dropped. Huge stuns coming through. Rhaegar the Null gonna get the kill down onto Nico, though, to start things off. And the shutdown being dropped in turn, though, by Tyrant Rex on to the side of Blue Esports. And all of a sudden, the Rek'Sai is once again caught out. This is a true back and forth. The double kill for the Corki now.
Back and forth because, like, Rek'Sai was running on one side of the alcove and then the other, or like back and forth because there were a couple of kills on both sides. Just
It's back and forth because you have some of the most confusing champions to cast here, Feedonomics. I don't know who Fossil Dyna is trying to pretend to be. I don't know who Iridesai is in the body of. It's all craziness. Argo the Radis, though, going to get engaged upon by the side of Corn, but he's just tanky enough to make his way out of that one alive. Snowlife, meanwhile, trying to pull some shenanigans, waiting in that bush, while Soul is claimed by Blue Esports Fire, but will just die for their efforts.
Yeah, not looking good on the side of TA Spectre. Looking great on my call for a Game 3.
Yeah, I think a Game 3 will, in fact, be had here. Things are really beginning to pull away in terms of the gold lead as well. We're looking at about a 7,500 point gap there in that count. Going in favor of Blue Esports Fire, TA Spectre really just going to have to turtle up from here on out, and in turn, really push the issue once they see encroachments upon their base begin.
I just want to start calling Tyrant T8 Rex.
You could if you want.
I don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's what it feels like looking at their name.
You know,
So,
I never noticed the fact that they have the T and A capitalized. Snowlife getting caught out here with the Storm Call of the Forest God. Mr. Topnapun gonna go on a rampage. This Corki is fully scaled up, and so many of these people still have their Baron buffs, which means that the siege will begin across this mid turret. We'll see if we're gonna get a counter engage in turn, but blue side may just have to seed this one away. Argo the Rat is diving right in, going golden, and that Encore is not gonna hit anybody. Meanwhile, Corn gonna drop Call of the Forest God, get the double knockup. Iridesai is gonna have to W away. Rugger the Knoll, not so lucky, going to be forced to drop their own Zanya's Hourglass here, and while the turret does go down and the flash will be dropped, this is still not a further push. Oh no, I misspoken here. Corn actually going to go right in and be taken out. Way mispositioned right there, as Rhaegar the Knoll is going to go on a rampage after becoming so close to being killed by that tower. They had to burn flash and everything, but now they're just going to try to walk this one home all the way into the base. You see the Nexus turrets going down. Mr. Topnapun dominating, going to grab Snowlife here. Tyrant Rex forced to flash back towards the base, and Argo the Radis will be able to take out yet another person with a stolen Nico ultimate. That is Fossil Dyna down. That is the second turret falling here. Tyrant Rex, the last line of defense. Paneer up in about 2 seconds, but I don't think it matters. The Nexus is getting melted out here, and it will, in fact, be a 1-for-1 score here between Blue Esports Fire and TA Spectre.
Game 3 series. Game 3 series. Game 3 series.
Yeah, and that was an exciting one. It really seemed like Blue Esports Fire just found their footing, and they were able to translate some really solid plays into huge pickoffs that really reduced the ability for champions like Blitzcrank to cause damage to their team. We talked a little bit about their lack of tankiness, but they sure made up for it with their incredible engages and massive damage.
Yeah, you know what was exciting about that? 102. Do you know what 102 was that game, Narco?
Souls on Senna.
That is correct.
I'm so good at this game.
You're so great. You're so great. Point for Gryffindor. But it just that's a really scary Senna to deal with, and the fact that they like accomplished the fasting build, super just dominating, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to take a quick break now. We're going to have to rest our voices, rest our bodies, and wait up for game number 3 here. When we return, we will see them face off in the drafting phase. Blue Esports Fire looking to take one over the second highest ranked team in the league here for the Infernal series of Blue Otter Platinum. We should see if they're going to be able to do it. Don't go anywhere. Hello friends and welcome back to the Blue Otter League Platinum Series. We are here in the Infernal Division with a game between Blue Esports Fire and TA Spectre that has gone down to the wire. We are moving into game 3 here, Feedonomics, and it's going to be an exciting one for sure. What do you think we're going to be seeing?
A Jarvan ban and they did it. They banned Ornn this time.
Finally, the one trick will, one trick no more. Corn is off the Ornn. Rejoicing is heard in the streets. Parties are thrown in happiness as Blue Esports Fire will finally remove that tank from the top lane pool. That being said, Corn has been showing themselves to be pretty dominant on a variety of champs, so we shall see what they decide to select here in return. Meanwhile, Senna going to be knocked out by TA Spectre this time around. Blue Esports Fire, for the 3rd time in a row, going to be locking in that Seraphine as their first pick.
I don't know how good Rhaegar is at it, but Zeri's still open.
All right, and it looks like the Ashe is going to be responded with in turn. Yeah, I could see the Zeri Seraphine lane working out really darn well. You are going for WMAX builds a lot of the time on the Seraphine recently, and the fact that we saw Moonstone come through for Austrius kind of makes me think that we will be seeing something similar that benefits a lot from that shielding. But TA Spectre favoring this champion quite a bit here. The Frost Archer going into Pinier's hands once again.
And we could sit there and make fun puns and call it the Seraphine lane.
Oh my god, you really forced that one too.
I didn't force it. That was good.
I heard the stutter in your voice. You were constructing it as it started up. Oh god, it is Seraphine. It is Seraphine.
Seraphine. Eat it. Take that. And we got the Viego again. I did actually really enjoy the Viego last game.
Yeah. Viego was strong. Irisai popped off for sure. It is very confusing to commentate, but you know, I like the practice.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's just to help. Like, maybe there won't be an Eco in this game.
Maybe there won't be an Eco.
Maybe there won't be a Silas in this game, so we won't have like multiple ultimates and everything like that. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, all we needed was an Aphelios.
Yeah.
In the last game to really
needed a gun.
me.
Ooh, Zillion.
That's interesting. We've been seeing it contested a lot for both sides, but that's typically something that we see in conjunction with something like the Jinx or another hyper carry, or alternatively with something like a Hecarim that really benefits from the speed boost. Volibear kind of does fall into that category, so I can kind of see what they're going for here. It also works as a flex pick, as Fossil Dyna or Snow Life can grab that for TA Spectre. I guess we'll have to see once we move here into the second set.
You can technically flex the Volibear too, though.
A lot of flex options in general. You know, you can flex anything if you try hard enough, Feedonomics. I think that this is something that we have learned from each other as we talk about the horrible things we play in solo
I don't
queue.
know if I can flex my muscles anymore. Those aren't.
Yeah, might have atrophied to the point of
Yeah,
uselessness.
I'm stuck in this chair forever.
Darn
Send
COVID.
help. Please send help.
Oh gosh. Well, regardless of how unfit we are, these teams are fit for a banger of a game. That is for sure. We are moving into game 3 here for those of you just tuning in. And therefore, these bans and picks are coming through as the product of a lot of exploration between the two of these teams. We see the Corki, something that was really popping off in the hands of Mr. Topnapun last game, getting banned out by TA Spectre. They will grab the Orianna for themselves.
Yeah, and I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking at it. I do like Orianna into the comp on their side, though. Like, that's a pretty mean combo with Volibear. A Volibear ball delivery system.
Yeah, for sure. Command Protect is going to do a lot of wonders for this team, and it allows you to basically go for an almost double supportive style. Obviously, Orianna could do quite a bit of damage, but shoring up the abilities of this bear to start fights off, especially with ultimate up, is just going to be a huge boon. Plus, Chrono Shift, always a game changer. That is for sure. Victor going to be the selection for Blue Esports Fire. I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't get to see Silas once again, although Argo could decide to select him and put him in that top lane one more time.
Yeah, I know. Shuggy is picked. We have a North top lane.
Yeah, I mean, stealing the Chrono Shift is always great, and you could grab the Enchanted Crystal Arrow as well. Honestly, there are a lot of good ultimates to be had for the side of TA Spectre by a Silas, but at the end of the day, I do like the fact that they are going for something with a little bit more tankiness and a little bit more just a standard top lane pressure here. They will be going to the Camille as the faded matchup, and we shall see how Korn is able to test their limits on something that is not the big red ram.
Are you ready for me not to force this one?
Oh, sure. Honestly, you're going to do it regardless of what I say, so go for it.
Yeah, well, like, now we have a cornmeal.
What?
Cornmeal.
What did you just say?
I called Camille, like, played by cornmeal. You're welcome. I will not apologize for
Oh my god. Sorry, I was taken aback by the comedic genius on display there for a second.
Chat, help me out here. Chat, come on. That was a halfway decent pun, right? Like a 3 out of 7.
God. And I have to cast a Camille that I consistently say is Caitlyn instead. Oh, the gods really are testing me this time around, Feedonomics.
Don't call her Caitlyn. Call Camille Cornmeal.
Yeah, sure.
You won't mess that up.
I'm going to be double whammied because Urusai is going to get the kill onto Camille, and then I'm going to be saying that Urusai is actually Caitlyn, but I don't know what team the Caitlyn is on, and things will just go downhill from then. Things are really testing my sanity, I guess, is the name of the game tonight, but at the end of the day, I'm willing to push through it because this is for sure going to be a wild one. Where do you think we're going to be seeing the allocation of like jungle resources this game, Feedonomics?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask about the really important thing, which is where First Blood was going to be. And
that comes later. We're still in pick ban phase. Come on.
I mean, honestly, I think bot lane really felt like he got a lot of jungle pressure from Blue last game. I think pre-6, that's probably their most lethal lane. Or at least it's the lane that has the most vulnerable people on the side of Spectre, right?
I would agree, yeah. Zillion gets outranged pretty heavily by Seraphine, I think, especially early on. And if he can solid poke down, Zeri could do quite a bit of damage, even pre-6.
Yeah, and it's like, Zeri's kind of scary. Like, very. I'll stop
Oh gosh, this will be the first time in Blue Otter League history where someone quits in the middle of a broadcast.
I can't. Goodbye forever.
Goodbye forever, friend.
But like I said, we'll see what happens. I don't think chat enjoyed my cornmeal comment.
They're burning your effigy in the parking lot outside.
That
That being said,
loved Wicker Man.
that all being said and done, we are getting pretty standard placements for everyone. We aren't seeing anything crazy like a Camille jungle, which I have actually seen busted out in a league before. That was pretty wild. But one of the things I want to talk about is Fossil Dyna on this Orianna. This is something that was banned away from them recently. They play a lot of this champion in solo queue, but they have a pretty diverse roster of characters that all kind of fall into the same immobile mage category. And out of all the ones that we've seen them display here in the Blue Otter League, I think that Orianna is still my personal favorite, and it's one that I think is going to synergize really well with the kind of composition that TA Spectre is going for. Camille is going to be able to isolate a lot of people with Hextech Ultimatum, but for everyone else, combining your Shockwave into Volibear Ultimate could just do so much to cause discord and drop damage down onto Blue Esports Fire. And so with that in mind, Blue side is going to have to do a lot, be very judicious about how they space themselves out and how they approach objectives.
There's just a lot of like single target CC that could land on the side of TA Spectre, like Hextech Ultimatum followed up by a bomb combo, followed up by an arrow, like Command Shockwave followed up by a bomb combo. Like they actually do combo pretty well with one another. I'm wondering if Zeri is actually going to be able to stay away to the point of where they're not behind, because I think that's the one situation on where Zeri doesn't look good, is when they're behind the whole game. They don't do enough damage at that point. Now, if you can get ahead on Zeri, it's a completely different story altogether. So we'll see if that Zeraphine lane can get first blood. I'm not gonna stop calling it that, Narco. I'm sorry.
You know what? I've warmed up to that one out of everything that you've said today. I'm never going to warm up to cornmeal, but like...
Wait, the guy's name is Corn, and he's playing Camille. You can't not enjoy cornmeal.
Oh, God. Look, like I said, I'm being accepting of at least one of your puns. Let's keep it at that. I will continue to grow, you know, more and more open to the things that you say as time will go on, but these are slow baby steps for me. I'm just now adjusting to the pun onslaught that I'm being exposed to, okay?
Oh, so you're saying your puns and like getting along with my puns will be like how bread rises?
You're about to force something really bad here.
Narco, come back! Don't leave! Not like everyone else in my life.
This matchup, though, overall, who do you think's gonna come out on top?
Blue Esports.
Okay, I like it. I can see it, you know. We did talk a lot about the different engagement options and pick potential that TA Spectre does have, but Irosai was just so strong on the Viego last game, and if they could get those chain kills off, they're going to be able to turn around some of that utility and push it back on to TA Spectre in turn. Zeri popping off and just kind of sticking with the Viego as they move around and drop damage onto individual targets is going to be huge. And Victor, similar to some of the champions that we see come through for TA Spectre, is going to be able to do a lot of area and zone control denial with the combination of their fields alongside Chaos Storm.
Yeah, but like I think the reason that Viego was so successful the last game was because there was also a Senna healing on top of the Seraphine healing. We don't have that in this game. There were a lot of like ultimates that came across from Senna last game that helped out a lot to keep Irosai alive. They don't have that this game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there. It will be a little bit more of a skill testing matchup for sure. Viego will not be able to kind of sit back on that healing, but at the same time, we'll see whether or not some of these champions who really will fall very quickly to a heartbreaker over a wall or something similar will even be able to get out enough damage in turn to endanger the Viego. That being said, for I think old time's sake here, I'm going to have to vote for TA Spectre just so we get a little bit of drama within this game number 3. We shall see. what happens here as we are going to throw to a quick break. When we come back, this will be the final round between Blue Esports Fire and TA Spectre.
Game 3 series, Game 3 series.
Hello friends, and welcome back to game number 3 between TA Spectre and Blue Esports Fire. We saw some bangers of games so far in the series Feedonomics, and both teams are hungry for a victory here. Everything is on the line for sure. And with that in mind, how do you think this early game is going to be playing out?
Early game, I don't feel like either one of these teams want to get too aggressive, but like I said, I think that the bot lane on the side of blue probably has the biggest advantage to be able to do so. I do kind of want to see them try to put their foot on the gas, so to speak, so that they don't fall behind on a champion that needs to basically stay ahead and get to the late game as quick as possible. If Rhaegar can get big, then it is going to turn into a problem for TA Spectre most likely.
Yeah, for sure. We do see them go with the cleanse here to both push away the enchanted crystal arrow, but I also think it could be utilized in order to offset Zillion slow, just in case you really do have a solid engage or fight opportunity. But overall, that will just have to come down to whether or not Austrius will be able to land their poke and get one of these champions really low. Across the rest of the map, things are shaping up about as normal. Everyone is arriving at their lanes and taking some of this early CS. And I think that it'll just become a matter of time, waiting and watching to see how priority shapes out. Meanwhile, we are getting a double bottom start from Tyrant Rex and Irusai.
Yeah, double bottom start. We did have the quick level 2 by mid lane on top in there on Victor. And honestly, didn't use any of the trades that they'd started to commence in, but Q auto attack is pretty strong.
Yeah, I think right now both champions are going to go for a full clear here in the jungle, and then they from that will just pivot over and try to find a way in. right now, though, things are going to stand relatively peaceful, and I think that is just kind of something that we've been seeing a lot in the current meta. As long as we don't see big solo kills come through in any of these lanes, you really need the junglers to get freed across the map before anything big really comes to pass.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I guess we are in fact not seeing a clear here, as we will get Tyrant Rex moving up to the top side of the map to try and take down Argo the Radis. Corn taking a lot of damage as Mega Gnar is in full effect, but First Blood will in fact go over to the Camille at the end of the day. That is one grab for TA Spectre to start this one off. Caster's Curse and all. Caster's Curse.
Well, yeah, you definitely did cast a powerful hex right there.
You know, it was a almost full clear for the other side. Viego is going to peel their way back up and maybe try to get something done in revenge on the Tyrant Rex, but he is a level down. Argo the Radis coming into the area, though. Meanwhile, Camille gonna have to back here, so we shall see what happens. We do get Orianna rotating from mid lane alongside Mr. Topnapun, but ultimately Flash will just be expended by the Volibear, and that big monster is going to just move their way back into their jungle.
Also, you know, Rhaegar is going to get a little bit of benefits from Orianna and Volibear on the other team because of the shields that they provide to their team. Passive and all that.
Yeah, that's definitely true. But for the time being, not enough that it's really coming into a huge amount of effect. It's just going to be a question of how these junglers will dictate the pace of these lanes across the map. Now that Corn has a little bit of an advantage topside, though, coming back to a lane with that Sheen versus just the boots for Argo the Radis, it may be the case that that is where we see TA Spectre try to push their advantage and try to push their lead.
Yeah, I mean, and you really do want your Camille ahead too. Like that would always feel good. So it makes sense. Kind of unlucky that we didn't see Argo trying to use their flash there to live through that situation. Maybe should have tried to hold E until they were tiny so that they could have bounced off of noggins.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those weird scenarios. We've been seeing a few of those where it just becomes a question of would they have lived if they burned a summoner spell or vice versa. So I think that ultimately the election to not use it will eventually lead to some value later on in the game that Argo the Radis may not have otherwise accessed, but for the time being, that question will linger in our heads as they will have to take a little bit more passive of a stance here on the top side.
Yeah, and you already have your Dune Quiver being bought on Ashe. Zillion opting in for an early Dark Seal. So, Snow Life feeling confident in themselves.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting choice. I think that right now, Paneer and Snow Life just think that this is going to be a relatively passive lane. They're going to play pretty far back, and in turn, Zillion will be able to come out with maybe just a few assists if the jungler does decide to come down. But otherwise, it's just always something that you kind of access in order to get a bit of power spikes later. Mr. Tomnapun going to get caught out right on that bush check, and he still has flash up, so he will be able to make it out of this one alive, but that is a dangerous situation to be in. You lost a lot of life here, and in turn, this will allow for Fossil Dyna to kind of push and pull that wave however they so desire.
We'll see what happens. We do have a bunch of action kind of going on.
Yeah, right now it looks like everyone is just trying to jockey for advantage. We do have Hextech Drake spawned up here in the bot side of the map, and so I think that that is where we'll be seeing a focus of drama. But Corn obviously loves to take these big trades. We've been seeing that a lot, and they do have that level up on the Gnar right now. So far, though, it's going to be a matter of time and not much else. Viego sitting in the wings, maybe looking for an engage or otherwise a form of disengage if Corn does decide to go for a dive. There they come forward. Argo the Radis is going to be very, very angry and will get the stun up against the wall. That will lead to chain CC. Urusai going to pick that one up.
Yeah, and just really good play on their
flash forward bot side as well. Austria's in quite a bit of trouble. Snow Life gonna pick that one up. I guess that Dark Seal was worth it. Now Rhaegar the Knoll at less than half health gonna have to cluster under that tower. Unfortunately, Austria's just taking poke early, and in turn they were unfortunately caught out of position and taken down. The score is now 1-2.
Oh, and Zillion actually running Unsealed Spellbook. Something that I didn't notice in the beginning there.
It is for something it is for sure something that is a little bit less, standard than what we've seen before. But I actually do think an Unsealed Spellbook on supports is kind of a wave right now. We are seeing Light Rocket do it a lot on Taric support when they play in that role, and they just allow for a lot more utility to be had for a lot more consistently versus having to wait for your cooldowns to come back up. And Zillion is a champion that can benefit pretty heavily from going on into that inspiration tree early, and with the vast majority of their resources, Shockwave being used, Fossil Dyna trying to flash out, will be able to avoid that Heartbreaker in turn, and the Orianna will peel out. But bot side of the map, Tyrant Rex at full health trying to push something in with the help of Snowlife and Paneer. Austria's going to move forward here. They aren't quite level 6, so they don't have the Encore 4 engaged. Snowlife, meanwhile, does have Chrono Shift up. We see Rhaegar then will ride over the wall and try to get some damage down onto Tyrant Rex with the help of Urusai and Mr. Topnapun, and that will be a big stun by Zillion to prevent further chaos from occurring.
Yeah, that was a really big double bomb there to stun the team up. Almost wonder if they could have done something with it, but it's probably wiser to play passively in this circumstance. You don't want to misstep and kind of put the game into the back pocket of Blue Esports like what happened last time.
Yeah, Snowlife barely had any mana, so even with Chrono Shift up, it'd be very hard to enact any kind of play with it. So just generally, I like the safe approach that is being currently taken by TA Spectre. They are up a little bit of gold, and they are kind of happy holding things at parity for the time being. They know that once they get out of laning phase, the pick potential just goes through the roof, as Paneer will just be able to hit people with Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and you have a lot of insurance as well with Zillion Ultimate.
Oh, let's see. Oh, that was a good shove on the side of Argo, though.
Yeah, Argo the Radis is just playing this Gnar incredibly well. I'm really happy with how they are approaching this lane, even after that unfortunate early kill going over to the Camille. But for the time being, we are once again back at a state of lull. This has been a lot calmer of a game. It's 10 minutes in with only 3 kills total on the board here. That being said, Paneer may be in a little bit of trouble. We see the dash forward and Encore being dropped, but Paneer is going to flash their way right out of that engage.
Yeah, and didn't want to use their summoner. I mean, they have heal, so if they were locked up by any of those stuns, I think they would have been dead to rights.
Mr. Topnapun, meanwhile, in the mid lane, just getting a little bit of push down against Fossil Dyna, who has a bit of a health advantage. Phase Rush, though, is going to be the name of the game for the Orianna this time around. I like that. It just allows for a little bit more stickiness. Speaking of stickiness, we do have Argo the Radis running forward to try to stay on Tyrant Rex, but the rotation from the Orianna will be enough to dissuade any further engage.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, Zeri being left alone right now I don't dislike, because you want the experience advantage to go over to them. But that lane is scary to be alone in. You're one arrow away from, like, Gray Screen Simulator, is all.
Yeah, and I think that we are seeing some of that pressure that is now being exerted by Paneer come into the forefront here in the bot side. Rhaegar the Null and Austrias have been pushed in quite a bit, honestly, and in turn, Tribush is fully the domain of Snowlife and company. So that is just going to allow for a potential gank setup or even dive, as Tyrant Rex does have ultimate up and may look for a play here. They are waiting in that bush with open arms, and there's a little bit of a poke from Austrias just to, call them out.
I may not see you, but I know you there.
Yeah, 100%. That being said, Tyrant Rex and Snowlife are going to move forward with this one. There's the ultimate under tower. The dive is, in fact, coming through. Rhaegar the Null going to drop ultimate, flashing backwards, trying to kite their way out from Tyrant Rex. But that damage and rotation in the area just means the Volibear is the first one to fall. And while Chrono Shift will be delivered onto Paneer, I don't think they're getting out of this one alive. Not even able to trade a kill back. That is a double-double for Rhaegar the Null on the Zeri. That is a disastrous set of plays set up for TA Spectre. They have just given away the lead.
Yeah, and the dragon, which is more of a lead. The problem with Chrono there is that you kind of gave the double kill over to Rhaegar on Zeri, whereas if you would have just let him die, it would have gone to someone else.
Yeah, for certain. That is the worst possible thing to happen here, as now that Zeri will in fact be able to scale up, just as you were talking about, Feedonomics. That being said, Corn on the top side of the map will use this little moment of freedom to get some plates onto themselves, and they should hopefully scale up in quite the monster themselves.
Yeah, though, once again, we didn't really talk about summoner spells at all, so it's kind of like, let's run them down over here real quick. You have the Exhaust running on support on the side of blue. You have the Ignite over on Snow Life. Veneer is running your traditional heal flash combo, because they really don't have the fear of a lot of CCs that they've got to avoid this game, so I don't dislike it. And then over on Rhaegar, you're running Flash and Cleanse. Teleport on both sides for your mid laners, though one is on one button combination and the other is on the other. Something to keep an eye out for. F is for Flash, guys. Like, it always has been and it always will be.
All right, Argo the Rat is getting engaged on by Corrin. He's just going to hop away in Big Gnar form. And meanwhile, bot side of the map, Aerosite is waiting in the wings. He has that Rift Herald up, so play here could translate over into an attempt at first tower.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, you have a ward in the bush above Aerosite. But it looks like he's just going to stop.
Yeah, we just see the rotation back of Aerosite into the river. About what we expected, but it seems like you got something to say right here, Feedonomics. What's up?
Just basically, the Camille is running the Teleport Ignite combo. If I would have known that, I probably would have given it a little bit more jungle assistance and pressure to the top side.
Yeah, we just saw Enchanted Crystal Arrow actually get whiffed bot side of the map, so that's going to provide a little bit of breathing room for Rhaegar the Null and Austrius. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we see the Rift Herald being dropped. Argo the Radis getting caught out, ignited, and in turn, Tyrant is just going to try to push forward, but it's not going to work. Gnar somehow manages to get out with just a sliver of health.
Yeah, that was less than 20 HP there for a second.
Unfortunate for sure. I do agree with your sentiment from earlier, Feedonomics. I really think that I would have appreciated a little bit more attention towards topside for Corrin. They proved themselves to be a really capable top laner, and I kind of think that given the fact that Argo the Radis right now is just kind of able to provide a lot of utility for the rest of the team, as we saw them go Big Gnar in that last fight bot side that actually brought the blue team ahead here. Could have been nice to try and get something more done onto the Camille. They were going to Triforce completed, and we could have seen that cascade into a big tower play topside or something else. But what is done is done. And so with that in mind, the question is, what is the next step forward for both of these teams?
So if you're the side of blue, you just want to sort of try to keep this cadence. You want to try to get Rhaegar a couple more kills, I think.
Ooh, that Enchanted Crystal Arrow is going to go down bot side. You have Cleanse up, but there is the Crush being dropped down onto Ash. Rhaegar the Null popping their Pikachu. Going to go forward. Australia is really darn low, trying to hide under tower. There's the root coming through, so Paneer will get a revenge kill, but Australia will grab one right back. Rhaegar the Null now, though, trying to kite out a very angry Tyrant Rex, who comes down to see their bot lane dead. He's going to try to pick up one of his own. There is the legit slam come through, the shutdown going over to the Volibear.
Yeah, maybe grew a little too proud there, trying to continue to fight that out. But I admire the hustle.
I admire the hustle, yeah. It ultimately ends up being a 2-for-2. Could have been a bit more if we did, in fact, see Rhaegar play a little bit safer. But I guess Mr. Tark is the one that wants to kill this time. He's going to go forward on the Fossil Dyna. And with Shockwave being utilized, it does not matter. Flash will not save the Orianna from the victor today.
Shockwave was dodged, champ. Like, he flashed like a champion, ready to win this game 3, top and getting the solo kill.
Yeah, we do have Zilean encroaching upon Argo the Radis top side of the map, but I don't really think that Zilean has a ton of gank pressure, so he's just going to kind of sit there for the time being. We're going to have to see if Gnar actually likes to push up a bit more. Corrin really wants to shove this wave in and turn and just back, so a little bit of a non-bow right there. Ultimately, Snow Life will just return to base. We do have the Rift Herald up and about 9 seconds before the next drag, so there's a lot of things to set up for across the map right now. And it looks like Blue Esports are going to use some of this downtime that came from the fact that Snow Life went on a roam in order to establish a little bit more domination of vision across the map. Meanwhile, Corrin topside going to try to hookshot their way in onto Argo the Radis, who's still in mini Narn 4. He will just hop away from that one, though.
Did you see that damage they just took right there?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. Corn, meanwhile, going to continue to try to push the fight. There's the Ignite coming down alongside Hextech Ultimatum, and that will be an easy peasy lemon squeezy kill picked up for Corn on the Camille. That is Enchanted Crystal Arrow being used as well. Austria staying still for quite the while now, and Fossil Dyna will grab one in turn, evening up the scoreboard, even though that is 2 dragons over in advantage for Blue Esports Fire.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, it's very much a mimic of game 1, right? It's an Infernal Dragon and a Hextech Drake. I'm pretty sure that was game 1. They went opposite directions the last time. Though, if you're Snow Life, you gotta be careful right now.
Yeah, there is the ultimate being utilized on themselves. He will Chrono Shift back into existence. The question is, can he stay alive for this one where there's a Heartbreaker forward? Irisai going to get the kill down, and he will pick up the item set of Zillion, but he's so darn slow, he's just going to have to Heartbreaker back towards tower instead of trying to push more of a fight onto Paneer right there, and we see the ultimate come down, stopping that tower from dropping damage down onto the rest of the team, but that is a huge encore to helpfully slow down and take out Tyrant Rex. Rhaegar the Null going from the one in a hugely bad situation right there to picking up yet another murder of the Volibear.
Yeah, no, it's like I do appreciate the aggression that Rex is trying to put out. But it's been too deep too many times.
Yeah. I mean, that one really looked like it was going in their favor. They got the ultimate off, they had the chase, but they just did not have the backup, and the collapses from Blue Esports have been on point. Feedonomics, they know exactly when to try to save these members. We see the root behind tower go down onto Paneer, but there's just not really any follow-up damage to burst down that Ashe for the time being. But speaking of burst, Fossil Dyna just going to get once again mid lane. Mr. Topnapun getting pretty darn scary right here on this Victor.
Yeah, that was that's a I don't think I'd like to be Oriana right now. Mr. Fossil, like, feeling that carbon dating that's going on. Got another one in. Got another one in.
I don't know if that one worked at all, but I will give you the chuckle.
What are you talking about?
Look, the carbon dating reference, while good, doesn't really work as like something harmful that occurs to someone. Stun, meanwhile, top side of the map, Korn gonna get jumped in on by Argo the Radis, but so far these two champions gonna remain relatively even. Mini-Gnar form now the only thing in the arsenal for the top laner for Blue Esports though, so he's gonna have to run away from this. A lot of rotations though, once again, they are gonna look to try to take out the Camille, I think with the long-term approach. Gonna get spotted out at a ward in turn though, so Irisai will back off.
Yeah, I mean, Camille, I'm looking at items really quick. Yeah, that Trinity Forest, it's going to turn into a Ravenous Hydra here soon. That's just scary. Both champions kind of electing to get a Trinity Force in the top side. I think that I would have preferred to have seen just the Divine Sunder on Gnar.
Yeah, it is a little bit interesting to see the Triforce come out here. If anything, it's an experiment. It's a Triforce. Okay, I see why this is bad. I will never do that again. And the deafening silence is what confirms that I just made the worst pun in the world. Oh, no real engage happening bot side of the map. We saw the laser beam come through for Rhaegar the Null, but that will not lead to an engage. Right now, gold remaining relatively even. It is one tower per side, but Camille is marching up a line of troops to try to drop down the second tower top. That will be the way back into the game, I think, right now. The Camille is very strong. They are able to split push with a lot of capability here. The question is, will we see Blue Esports allocate their resources properly? Tyrant Rex, speaking of which, is just going to whip that ultimate over the wall. He will get the stun down, but the Heartbreaker will be too much, and Irisai is going to go on a killing spree right here. Unfortunate turn of events for the Volibear.
Yeah, looking back at it, it was a good pun, but maybe you should leave it to the professionals.
All right, will do.
But I did like it. I did like it. You just caught me while I was a little distracted with the game.
I see how it is. All of a sudden, you are the one being distracted by the game itself rather than puns. It's a rare occurrence.
Oh, ooh, ow, zing.
Zing, yeah. No flame whatsoever on the commentary style. I appreciate the levity you bring to the situation, but right now, let me take the driver's seat as I think we're going to be getting quite the fight here in the bot side river. We're about 7 seconds before the next dragon. Once again, Blue Esports are looking to get to Soul Point super early on here.
We do have every ultimate up except for the junglers on both sides of the map. So we'll see what happens if oh.
Yeah, there's the hook shot in. We will also see Enchanted Crystal Arrow be dropped onto Argo the Radis, but he's able to get out of that one pretty darn quickly. And now Rhaegar the Nose is dumping out damage. Irasai gonna go on a rampage here. He's picking up multiple kills, and Snowlife will also go down. We get the Viego at the double-double so far. Fossil Dyna just gonna have to book their way out of that situation. The last one alive for TA Spectre, and this will be Soul Point grabbed for the blue team, and Blue Esports are gonna look to push this advantage across the map. We get Victor shoving in mid and then rotating over towards top. This may not be a Baron play, but it is at least the beginnings of the end, I think.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna at least be the first nail in the coffin.
Oh, they are actually gonna start the Baron. Once again, I am cursed, but this is an interesting call. I think that everyone is coming back up, and we will be seeing the deck ball come through for TA Spectre. We're gonna try to stop this from occurring.
They are
Blackman's coming around. Yeah, they're gonna start.
Damage is not fast enough.
Yeah, gonna start chopping this one down. The big purple tree, as it were. Volibear in the area. He has ultimate up. I don't think he's going to hesitate. He'll go right over the wall, but Viego's going to grab Baron Nashor to start things off. Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to finally travel and meet its mark down onto Victor, who's in quite a bit of trouble here. He'll be blazed down before much else occurs. Shutdown, in fact, going over to the Zillion, and they're going to continue to push this fight. Riverside dominating, though. He'll be able to steal the body of the Zillion, but he doesn't have the items to continue that one up. So even after a double kill, the Shutdown will finally go over to Tyrant Rex, and now Rhaegar the Knoll is the one left standing as they will kite their way back towards tower. That was a solid play and solid distribution of damage for TA Spectre. So many people barely left alive, but it does not matter. They get out with the 4-for-1.
Mm-hmm. I think
4-for-2. 4-for-2.
Then and the ult would have gone off a little earlier. I think that would have been very good for the side of blue. But
yeah,
the issue was just he didn't have the damage to actually get through the front line to the back line.
Yeah, and I really think that you just can't take the body of Snowlife if you're Irasai in this case. Like, you just don't have the items with which to, like, push forward the fight. And the fact that currently the Zillion is sitting on only an Everfrost plus boots means that you don't really have the ability to solidly engage onto anyone else before heartbreakering out of that body onto someone else. I think that you just got to be a little bit more selective, actually stay in your regular body, hope to kill someone else, and then use that as your ultimate reset.
So I mean, that's maybe Snowlife's ultimate strategy, though. Maybe if I'm behind the whole time, then I won't be a good target, and they'll make
that feeling when you sell all your items just so Viego has nothing.
Exactly. You're the side Corrin looking to hunt down Argo in the top lane, though.
Yeah, right now, that gold lead has closed up a little bit. It is only about 4,000 now, sitting in favor of Blue Esports. But the thing to watch out for is the fact that you still do have Rhaegar the Knoll on that Baron buff. They'll be able to push lanes, and I think we're going to be seeing more and more of a clustering of champions from Blue Esports around the Zeri here, just so that they're going to get some priority before shifting over in about 2 minutes to that dragon. Soul here is going to be pretty darn big, as it is Cloud, and that is something that Zeris love to have. They already benefit a lot from increased movement speed, and with that extra buff, especially after dropping ultimate, things are going to be scary for sure, especially for the squishies on TA Spectre side.
Gonna interrupt you in a second while we have this slight lull of action here for a second, and welcome everybody from Blue Water League 1 for coming to join us. Thanks for coming into the raid. Here you go, it's all yours.
Yeah, Hextech Ultimatum going to be utilized by Corrin here, and while Argo's knockaway is valuable to buy him a little bit more time, that is still going to be an X-Gnar topside. Airside Mr. Topnapin, though, going to use this opportunity after Volibear showed in order to take this bot side tower before rotating back into the enemy jungle here. Blue Esports are still picking up a lot of value across the map right now, and with the ability to establish such early priority over this bot side river, I think that is going to be difficult for TA Spectre to try to contest this huge pivotal 4th dragon.
Yeah, but at the same time, Corrin just taking the top turret and gonna get a bounty off of that. That's not good for the side of blue. But, oh my goodness!
Yeah, we get the engage in the mid lane. Zeri is going to go Pikachu form. We see the ultimate over the wall from Tyrant Rex, who just desperately needs to get away and stay alive in order to try to contest this dragon that's coming up shortly here. And it looks like he will be able to make his way out alive. Victor, meanwhile, doing a whole lot of damage topside, will have the teleport up, so he's free to push for the time being. A lot is on the line, though, with this one for sure. It's not only just within this game, Feedonomics, it's the overarching narrative. We've been wanting Blue Esports to really show their stuff. And finally, in this game against the #2 seed of the Infernal Division, they really have been popping off.
They really have been. It's been an interesting 3-game series to watch so far. I'm going to probably give this back to you because other stuff's going to happen. But I thought of another great pun, and I'm waiting to use it.
Just drop it at the end of what is inevitably going to be a team fight for this soul. We don't have any ultimate up for Rhaegar the Knoll. They're going to have to delay a little bit in order to use that for an engage within this team fight. Right now, though, you have TA Spectre forced to move through some pretty desperate choke points, and in turn, it looks like Blue is just going to grab that dragon for very little tax.
That was what you call free?
Free?
Free? That being said, oh no.
Argo the Rat is gonna flash forward and get the stun onto the wall. Camille in a little bit of trouble, will be forced to hook shot back, and the Encore is gonna do so much to lock down TA Spectre as we see Rhaegar the Knoll once again pop that ultimate, and they're chasing after Volibear, who's gonna have to run deep towards their side in order to stay alive here. That is yet another tower claimed, and with that soul, you can see the damage that the team of Blue Esports Fire is able to cause. That is a slowly closing gold lead, but at the end of the day, Feedonomics, things still seem firmly in the court of blue side.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I agree with that altogether. I'm gonna do it now while I've got a moment of free. What do you call it whenever topside is completely banned out and attempted to be shut down when you're Blue Esports?
I have no clue.
It's an Argo embargo.
That's not even a pun. That is just a rhyming joke.
It's great. I loved it.
Is that a pun? I actually don't really know.
Chat would have to tell us if it's a pun or not, but I'm
any
gonna.
English majors? Any English majors? Yeah, the Baron is up, and it looks like we're getting a jostling and jockeying for position around this big purple worm. If this is actually claimed by Blue Esports Fire, this could spell the end of the game. Ooh, big stun going down onto Austrius over the wall, and the activation of the Baron means that they're going to be chunked pretty darn low by that combo.
Hey, but thanks, Honey Fruits. You're the real MVP.
You the real MVP. That river fruit technology gonna heal the Seraphine right back up here. And overall, it looks like that little spark of action will be all that we see for the time being as everyone disengages away from the Baron Nashor. I don't think either side is strong enough to really take this even off of a vision play. It will be up to grabbing a pick here on either side in order for this objective to be claimed.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe we see an Encore opened up here. But for now, it just looks like we're clearing.
Yeah, we do have Gnar waiting inside of the Baron pit, trying to find a way out. They are getting spiked pretty heavily by the Baron Nashor in turn, so they're going to have to move their way back on out away from that objective. And right now, it really is just a fight for vision. Corrin getting caught out a little bit, though. That's a lot of damage being dropped down onto the Camille. So they're going to be forced to back here. And this could be the opportunity that Blue Esports need to start up the Baron. The vision is being dropped in turn, so they will know that this is started out. The question is, will we see the engaging contestation come through? Teleport being dropped. Corrin is going to return to the area here that is already at 1500. Blue team is going to kill it even after Tyrant Rex tries to go in, but heck, Corrin is going to kill Argo the Radis in turn by utilizing that Hextech ultimatum. Tyrant Rex, what are you doing? Way too far forward. They're in a huge amount of trouble. Will be taken out, and we do see Chrono Shift being dropped onto Corrin, but it won't matter. The Camille is going to get out without the need for the revive. And somehow, that is a pretty free Baron at the end of the day for Blue Esports Fire. So many people are going to have to back on the side of TA in order for them to stop this push down mid. Rhaegar the Knoll is just going to dash right over the wall, but is going to get caught out by Korn a little bit. Mr. Topman with the burst damage coming through, though, and Korn is also going to be taken out. That is a huge turn, and this may be the death push for Blue Esports Fire. All of a sudden, that engage makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, that was a really good engage on the side of Blue, but you have to watch out. Volibear is almost back up.
Yeah, teleport being channeled in turn, though, for Argo the Radis to return into the area. He's going to have to stack up that Rage, but this is the last Nexus turret being heavily sieged right now by Blue Esports Fire. They're looking to make a statement here and pick up this game against TA Spectre. There's a jump forward. The stun going down onto Argo the Radis in turn, though. He will go into Mega Gnar before he's bursted out, and that Nexus will fall.
He did it.
They did it.
Let's go! Way to go, Blue! You're my boys, Blue. That also being said, I'm wondering if I was the only one that picked them. I would like to know. I mean, like, can we get the production to let me know about that prediction board? I'm gonna go look that up. Like,
well, congratulations to you on gaining some channel points in turn here, Feedonomics. But the real congratulations, I think it has to go over to Blue Esports. They played a fantastic set of games here. They brought everything back and managed to make it a 3-game series for the history books. Huge pickups here in the last game, really coming in form of Irtisai once again popping off on that Viego. But Rhaegar the Knoll, also not someone to be trifled with here. A lot of gold income being placed onto them due to the fact that they played that early game and that early laning phase well, and they translate that into a ton of damage and a huge win. Blue Esports Fire are going to be moving up the ranks a little bit here. No longer will they be bottom sitting as number 8 within the Infernal division.
I apparently was the only one that picked Blue Esports to win this game. So, so you know, I'm the good luck charm. That being said, like, phenomenal play on the side of Blue there. Zeri coming through very big for Rhaegar the Null there. But also Ursai on Viego and Toppin just was shoveling out damage. Three deaths on the carry side of Blue Esports that game, which is just like, that was the linchpin. Like, I mean, it was just a phenomenal game to watch. I'm happy that we got a 3-game series as always. I'm sorry for your neighbors as always. but I'll take it. I don't know. My parting words are congratulations, Blue. You guys deserved it. You gotta keep making your push. I'm not sure how like playoffs play out with you winning this game. But we've only got a few more weeks, if any, left in the season before we hit the playoff bracket. So I'm ready to get there. I don't know about you, Narco.
Yeah, we just got a little bit left in the tank. We will have one more week of regular season play after this one, but that will then translate over into the wild card play matches and then quarters, semis, and finals. So there's still a lot of gas left in the tank for sure here. Make sure you tune in tomorrow as well for the gold leagues to be popping off on both Blue Otter 1 and Blue Otter 2 here on Twitch. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Shout outs, as always, to Blue Esports Fire, but also shout outs to TA Spectre. They put up a good fight, and I think that they showed via their macro control just why they continue to stay near the top of the standings. This hit will, you know, strike them a little bit hard in regards to where they stand in the Infernal division, but I still have very high hopes for how they carry themselves throughout the rest of the season. Shout outs to you, Feedonomics, of course, for being my lovely color caster week after week here in Blue Otter. And shout out to Laggy Son, making sure that everything comes together in a fantastic stream. That producer diff truly is there for real. And until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Hey man, have a great night, guys. Did we shout out Laggy, our producer there?
I literally just shouted out Laggy.
I just wanted to make sure. I was worried. Like, we have to make sure our production cats are shout out and well fed.